right, actually, let me see on YouTube. Beautiful. And by the way, that's my chair. Not me. All right. You guys got me? Okay, let's see. What do we got to do today? Hey, what up? What up? All right, today I got to make some docs. However, I figure I might as well stream. It wasn't a fart. It was my chair. What up? Man, got a couple people here. Very cool. What's up? All right, got some Saudi Arabia, Cam America. Okay, let's get to it. So what do I got in my docket today? Teaching videos, man, lots of people love you too. Hey, Ferds, Muhammad, James, there we go. Lots of beanies, by the way. All right, today don't got anything too exciting. I just have to write up some tickets and then design some like wireframes, because whenever we have like a feature for the website, like today, what I have to do is we have a test net for the network, and we need to put that test net information on the website. However, it's not just like ready to hand off to design right now, since the designers don't know about testnet or IP addresses, ports, protocols. So I essentially have to give them a really basic wireframe. And I'll show you guys. Oh, you can't even see my screen, can you? Let's do this. Share screen. Entire screen. Should we do application window? And let's do entire screen. All right, so we got my entire screen, and all right, a little inception there. But I'll show you guys these, and then you guys will understand what I'm doing. So whenever we get out of here, thing, nice to see you too. Nice to see you guys. All right, so essentially whenever we have a feature for the website, I go in some application using Lucidchart right now and create something like this. And then I give a very the most basic wireframe that I can. And any technical details, I leave a note. And also some of the flow, like if you click this, then this modal pops up, so on and so forth. And then I give this to the design team, mainly Christy, and then she turns it into something beautiful like this. And that is our main process, and it's been working out really good because, okay, let's go through some of these comments. All right. How am I doing? I'm doing good. How are you doing? By the way, how's my audio? Too quiet, too loud? What's up, Divyesh? Big fan. Okay, excellent. Flexible man, Frederick. All right. Major sus videos, audio good. Okay, sounding good, like we're ready to roll. Also, another thing, I might as well just ask you guys instead of trying to figure out. Whenever I do these streams, are you more interested in kind of seeing the software development process and how things work, or would you prefer if I just answer? Did you guys hear that? Or would you prefer if I answered questions the majority of the time, or mix of both? Skipped CS1 in college thanks to Bucky. That's awesome. A mix of both. Okay. How many hours do I study on average every day? So I have a job, so not as much as I would like to. So my typical day is essentially wake up, and then I got to get shower, go to work. And then after work, I usually meet or have a meeting or two, because after work, I'm working on the digital currency. So I usually have a meeting or two with either the design team or the product team, marketing team, whatever. And then after that, I have a huge checklist of things to do, like reviewing tickets or merging NPRs, so on and so forth, writing roadmaps, doing this. And then after that, late at night, I usually have dinner and then read or study until I fall asleep. So it's pretty cool life, actually. All right. What else we got? How relevant would you say your tutorials from 4 to 6 years ago are as of today? I would say a lot of them are pretty relevant. The ones that are probably give you some trouble is the ones that I teach software, things like Photoshop or Illustrator. I have a feeling those are pretty out of date, but a lot of the programming concepts, they stick around. Some things like React and Redux, a lot of the newer ones or that were new back then, they changed things up a little bit, but I would say the majority of it is still relevant. Maybe not as high def as the current ones are, but okay, what do we got now? Any plans on a new podcast? Maybe you could do it with your friends, developers, TMB, or community. That's another thing you just reminded me of, actually. Let me stop sharing my screen for a second, because what I want to do is, why am I so not high def right now? I'm like 10p. Come on, stream. Okay. So, anyways, Caleb Curry told me on StreamYard that you can invite other people. However, I don't know how. So, if anyone used StreamYard before and knows how to invite other people, guess. Play a sound when guests enter. Definitely. Guest must authenticate. I don't think I want that. Okay, so let's see. Now, if you were a stream, how would you invite someone to it? Am I unfocused for you guys as well? This is definitely not 1080p. This is 10.8p, which is Game Boy Color camera. All right. So I see people saying invite. Man, this is aggravating now. What do I need to do? And that did not work. Fantastic. Let's see. It was going good. Hey, was I HD at the beginning? It's focusing on background. I'm over here, Cam. Oh, that was actually pretty focused. Was better earlier. Should I restart the stream? I don't know if that's gonna help. Debate. 720p, but it doesn't look like it. Nah, this is definitely not. All right, so let's figure out a couple things. Let's figure out how to invite people on StreamYard. All right, so let's go to settings and see if it's in here. Also, okay. So my camera resolution is definitely 1080p in settings, although it doesn't look like it. Okay, audio's good. Green screen. I should just message Caleb on Discord. Uh-oh. Hey, I'm gonna make Sanjeev spamming like crazy. Maybe putting down the camera a bit would help. Uh-oh, there we go. The old trick of the hand, I like to call it. Okay, now one last task to complete, and that is how to invite people on StreamYard. Video. I don't want to watch a video. Okay. Joining the broadcast. Your host should provide you with a link before the show. Okay, did not do that. So, do I need to have a link before? Actually, you know what? Okay, okay. All right, so we got something here. Varshith Kumar said there should be an invite link, but now where? So if you were an invite link, where would you be? And I will do some researching as well. We'll tag team it. We'll get it together. Figure this out. Okay, how to invite to stream and destination broadcast. You broadcast this, enter broadcast studio. Okay, I'm in the broadcast studio. Invited guests. Depending on your guests, this is where all guests include. Oh, add to stream. I do have that. Oh, here we go. Invite at the bottom. Wait, my screen isn't showing, is it? Okay. Okay, check it out. Send this link to your guests. You may also want to share instructions for guests. And what are these instructions? Because I told someone earlier today that you did not have to download anything. Okay, your host should provide you a link before the show. Apparently, this is a show. And okay, fantastic. Easy enough. So let's try it out. Who's going to be my first guest on the show? Thank you, Nazmul Hussein. Hey, you know what? I should actually post this in my Slack as well. Man, a lot of people. Okay. What's the plan for the stream? So I was going to. Don't tell me this thing again. That's what I have to do every time. Okay, so let's go ahead and invite someone to the stream just to test that out. Jesus Rosario, 199 with the super sticker. Thank you, Jesus Rosario. I like that name. I think I'm going to change my name to that. All right, guys, my name is Jesus Rosario from now on. Log into your account. 1 second. Okay. Uh-oh. Got some okay, I need some mods on this thing. Got all right, let me put these users. Okay. Do you update your webcam drivers recently? That can cause issues sometimes. I have never updated my webcam drivers, so that would explain it. Entering, allow this, allow. All right. The new Boston, how am I doing today? I am doing absolutely. All right, this is annoying now. I'm doing fantastic. What if I turn my lights up? All right, let's see if that worked. Display name is Bucky. And all right. Check. We got both my videos on here. What's going on here? Oh, this is interesting. Uh-oh. We got my laptop on here. All right. I just sent a message to Christy seeing if she wants to test my stream invite. Oh, am I still on here? We'll see if she does. Okay. Let's get Jacob Clevenger, Wheatley. I mean, I know I'm not supposed to have favorites on the new Boston community, but how can you not love Wheatley Core? Come on. What did I have for dinner? So the only thing I plan on having for dinner is these very, very small bag of peanuts. Are you kidding, camera? Okay. However, then I realized that this is probably the loudest thing I could possibly eat on camera. So let's see what else was up. Okay. Hey, Bucky, will you kindly share your video plans for 2021? So the plans are, and this is most likely going to change, but as of now, they are essentially to finish the digital currency tutorials, and that should just take a few days, maybe a week at most. And then I recently took a poll on Twitter, and Krisha helped me tally, one of the members of the community helped me tally the results. And the top voted for was actually Python, which I was surprised because I figured a lot of you would be sick of Python by now. But essentially, we are rolling out with Docker, AWS, and Flutter are going to be top three. I don't know exactly what order they're going to be in, but those are going to be top three. And then, okay, some more suggestions coming in. And then what we are going to do is go back and see what you guys want to watch most. So at least those three. But if there's any other things, then yeah, let me know. Plans for a Go tutorial. So Go and Rust were two of the top languages. So yes, yep. Okay, and another question I got right now was data structures and algorithms. So this is something I wanted to ask you guys. So a lot of people were asking about data structures and algorithms tutorials. However, it seems that the community is kind of divided in half right now because even though a lot of people would like those, let me just quit this real quick. Another set of the community is saying that, oh, everyone's creating these data structure and algorithm tutorials on YouTube. So they just want me to make something else to have unique content. But what do you guys think? Figure I got a couple people here now. Unit testing. Okay. Is it cold? It is not cold here. However, check this out. I have had these headphones for a long time. And if I don't have any hat on, then these things, this like little fake leather, maybe it's real leather, it like flakes off and it gets all over my face. So yeah, don't really dig it. Harmon, can I pronounce your name? I will not, Harmon. Absolutely not, Harmon. Okay. WTF, data structures and algorithms. Nice headphones. Finally, some appreciation for the headphones. Don't got the comments about the toothbrush. Okay. Vue.js. All right. I should make videos that interest me. Well, I like yes, they are Sennheiser. So I think my interests are mostly fulfilled by the digital currency network that we're building. It's just a huge community, huge open source project. It's basically every single thing that I love doing. And what I wanted to do with the videos is actually do two things. I wanted to listen from the community since that's where I get all my ideas. If I'm not, then, you guys are just going to peace out since if I'm not creating content you don't like. But another thing I was hoping to do is actually create the videos that would benefit the network as well. So right now we're in alpha. So people coming onto the network and starting up nodes isn't that high of a priority right now. But later on, people are going to need to know AWS skills or networking skills, Docker skills, what have you. So kind of like that. And also, whenever we were ready to start developing mobile applications, then I could teach Flutter, React Native, native app development, Android, iOS. So that's kind of the general plan. And then it'll just, all right, get some other questions here. So anyways, yeah. I missed something up here I saw from, okay. Jacob, oof, I've had that recently happen to my headsets before, switched to some wireless ones that are life-changing. Okay, life-changing. I need to know what this headset is now. Life-changing. What are my hobbies outside of tech? Do I have any hobbies outside of tech? Wow. This is getting depressing now. So, yeah, I don't know if I do have any chess. That was I used to be really into chess. And who asked this, by the way? Nikhil Meta. Yeah, I mean, okay. I have to slow down these questions. So, yeah, I do work. I'm a director of engineering during the day, and then later I work on digital currency network, and then on the weekends I just like to keep working on it and then study about different blockchain technologies, different cryptocurrencies. I don't know. I never feel like, oh, only tech, only tech. It's something I always enjoyed. I like building. I like the fact that you can create something that connects so many people, pretty much just typing here. Yeah, it's never, I don't feel the burnout that a lot of other developers do. Okay, Saddam Jayanti said, shout out my name. I like how everyone that says shout out my name is always people with the difficult names to say, like you're just messing with me or something. All right. Ozars Algister. This is so embarrassing trying to say everyone's name. But we got $5.49 Canadian, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you. I have to say Ozers Algerster. All right. I hope that was close at least. All right. Usual Sharma said, sir, some advice for beginners. Mr. Sharma, what exactly would you like advice on? Okay, let's see. Imagine 11-year-old kid watching this video. Okay. Is your digital currency tutorials for beginners? This was another hard thing, and of course I'm going to answer this with a little story. So whenever I'm creating a video tutorial like Python, JavaScript, whatever, it's pretty easy for me to look at the subject from the perspective of a beginner, someone new to Python, someone new to programming, someone new to Photoshop. It's pretty easy to get into that perspective. Now, the issue and the big challenge I had teaching these digital currency tutorials was that instead of just someone who wanted to learn about digital currency, I know that the audience was going to be a mix of people just from the new Boston, like designers and people learning Photoshop. but also in tech, there were going to be people who were brand new to blockchain, maybe just heard of blockchain before, but didn't really dive into it. And there's also going to be another set of people who are like expert DevOps and they've been working with Solidity and have their own ERC20 token. So it was difficult for me to put myself in their shoes when each person's shoes was so different. So to answer your question, is that series made for beginners? I tried to tailor it for beginners, but there may be some things in there that I kind of went over quickly just so I didn't aggravate the more experienced users, but is mostly shifted and tailored towards beginners. And Tanvir Ahmed, $5. Thank you, Tanvir Ahmed. And got a little pair. Very cool. Okay, let's see. How much time do you spend with your family and kids? So I do not have any kids. My family lives in New York, and I wasn't able to see them for a while, actually. I went there last Christmas, and then the virus hit. I'm in California now, so I haven't been able to get back, but I am hoping to get back this Christmas, even though I'm in the United States, which is like #1 worst country ever for the virus. And then I would have to fly through LA to New York City, which are like the two cities that are spiking. So I don't have a real good feeling about, what's coming up in the next couple weeks, but that answers your question. Okay. Pranav Gupta, I got a feeling that we are not going to get any work done, by the way. But Pranav Gupta, have you heard about White Hat Jr.? Any views on that? So I saw this on my suggested YouTube, and then I saw it on Reddit, I think, yesterday. And then maybe someone even posted it on the New Boston Slack, I remember. But I haven't had time to look into it or even see what it is. What is White Hat Jr. and what is this debate? I actually want to get up to speed on this. Shui, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Whoa, what is this? What is this? Okay, question. Any plans on making Golang or Rust tutorials? Yes, those are two of the highest voted programming languages that in the Twitter poll people mention. So there definitely is plans to make those, and awesome languages, by the way. Let's see. Please don't spam. Okay, I gotta time out someone. Put them in timeout. Okay, anyone who spams gets timed out. I should put Jacob Clevenger as a mod as well. Kyle Longrich, $20. Uh-oh, focus. Kyle Longrich. Kyle Longrich, $20 donation. Thank you, Kyle. And so this is only my second day streaming. So Kyle now has the record of donations. This is cool. It's my biggest donation ever. Okay. Okay. I didn't scroll down to see what the debate about White Hat Jr. is about, but let's see what else we got. Bucky, will you give a tutorial on Erlang? That's not one I hear too often. Maybe if I'm making a communication type app. I don't know, to be honest. Probably not in the near term. Actually, what are you interested? Manaj. I'm not even going to try to say that last name, but what are you interested in building with it? That'll be interesting to hear. Okay, Nikhil said White Hat Jr. has been very hot recently. Now let's see. James said, wish I could donate TNBC coins through YouTube. That would be sweet. I was actually talking with Christy a little bit earlier because I told her that I started streaming, and she asked if I like needed any graphics for my YouTube banner or like those little emojis that people can use, so on and so forth. And 1 second. So we were talking about these different, so kind of just comparing Slack versus Discord and then YouTube versus Twitch, talking about the different communities and the different functionality, the different just things that arise from it. And Discord and Twitch seem to have a lot more like developing built in, since you could build all these bots for it, so on and so forth. But maybe there is a way. I never programmed a Twitch bot before, or a Discord bot for that matter, but I don't know. That would be a very cool thing to teach as well. Actually, I'm going to write that down. That was a good suggestion. TNBC coins. Thank you, James, for that suggestion. Okay, what else? Are you interested in video games like Minecraft? From Aaron Baral. So, believe it or not, I'm not a big gamer. I don't like first-person shooters. I rarely play any computer games. I don't even have a PS3. I mean, all right. I'm pretty sure we're on 5 now, but there is my gaming knowledge, where I don't have an Xbox or PlayStation. However, are you kidding me? I do have a Nintendo Switch, and I do have Minecraft for it. And I really, really love games where you can build like a system, like not so much Roller Coaster Tycoon, more like Minecraft, where you can just discover things and put them together, and like you build a huge tower or like these little gears that are connected. I don't know, just like taking simple things and putting them together into more complex systems. So I would say, to your question, do you like games like Minecraft? I absolutely do. Those are probably the only type of games I like. Golang or Rust? Yes. Making tutorials on those, 2021. All right. Hold on a second. Got some comments here. Let me scroll up. All right. A coding scam. 10-year kid getting Google job. A coding scan. Yeah, for this all right, so I think I might have missed it, but this White Hat Junior, so White Hat Junior was someone who created tutorials. I should probably just look it up, but okay. How did I come up with the name The New Boston? This is a very disappointing story. That disappointing if you're looking for a cool story behind it, but I actually just was choosing a YouTube name, and I had no idea that I was going to be creating tutorials or teaching anything. This was before any of that. So I was just sitting there trying to come up with a YouTube name. And I was like, what sounds cool? The New Boston. That sounds pretty cool. If I would have foreseen that I would be creating tutorials and teaching millions of people, then I definitely would have put a lot more thought into it. But yeah, that is that's pretty much all I got for you. All right. It's a learning platform for learning basic coding for kids. Huh. And I'm guessing, putting together the info now. So I'm guessing White Hat Jr. was teaching kids, and then they like ripped them off somehow. Or I'm guessing something not good happened. All right. Do you have any good programming in quant finance? I do not. No technical analysis. I was actually looking recently just for like a library in Python or something, just with lots of technical analysis, like functions already built in. Surprisingly, I could not find one. So yeah. What about React.js? So I already taught, I think, a bit of React, and then React, Redux, so on and so forth. I haven't heard too many requests for React.js, but yeah, something to consider. Okay. I think your Slack link has expired or something. The one on Reddit. Yeah, these Slack links, it's kind of annoying because every time I create a link, it only is good for 30 days. And then if I post it in a README or anything, so on our GitHub, we have like 20 different repos, and I like to post the link on each README. But then after 30 days, whenever it expires, I have to go update each one. So kind of annoying, but yes. So on Reddit, I'll remember to update that. Who is this, by the way? Who told me that? Who told me that? Who told me that? Utkarsh Doobie. Utkarsh Doobie. Thank you for that. Slack link. And also, if you guys want to join our Slack, if you go to thenewboston.com and I believe in one of the drop downs it says join community, then you can click on Slack. Or if you don't feel like dropping something down, you can just go to thenewboston.com and right there on the main hero, there's a little button with a Slack logo on it. So you can click that as well. You know, whatever way you want to get in, just follow your heart. Okay, let's see. One at a time. Your thoughts on degrees versus certifications for tech. So, okay. So both are good. And if you have either one, it's not going to hurt you for getting a job. Software companies want the best developers, straight up. Whether that developer came from studying on their own, whether they went to a boot camp, whether they got certifications online, whether they went to school, it doesn't really matter. A lot of these things, like degrees and certification, those are good for getting you past the resume phase. Where if you just said no experience, then you're probably not going to get an interview. Now, if you say that you have a master's degree or you are certified in AWS, for example, then you're a lot more likely. However, it feels like once you got the interview, then it pretty much just comes down to talent. So whether you are, no matter where you're from, you essentially need to get in the door and then you need to prove that you got the skills. So degrees versus certs. Another thing about that is some companies care a lot about your degree and your experience, and some are more, they don't care about it that much, and some are just open to boot campers, some aren't, so on and so forth. So it's heavily dependent on the actual company. But in general, I would say work on improving your skills, join open source projects, make sure you have a nice portfolio, and you'll be looking really good. Okay, let's see. Please enable slow mode. I think I do have slow mode enabled, unless I have to enable it for each one. Well, what is this? I see a $50 thing up there, but did someone just donate $50? Okay. Oh, let me scroll. Okay. Lots of stuff going on here. Which book is on your back desk? What is that? I mean, I could clearly just turn around and look, but rather just look into my monitor and try to tell. So this is Mastering Ethereum. What was I learning about yesterday? I think I was, yeah. Let's see. All right. So yeah, we are looking into creating an ERC20 token so we can wrap the new Boston coins and get them on decentralized exchange. And I was just, that was the book that I read before bed last night. It was my bedtime story, Ethereum books. Okay. Your real name, please. I'm not telling, but I did show it in a lot of my tutorials. So if anyone knows it, do not tell. It's a top secret info. Any plans on making Dart and Flutter tutorials? Yes. Flutter is okay. So AWS, Docker, and Flutter are the top 3 most requested tutorials. And then after that, I am going to be looking for others. Have I heard of SIA Network, decentralized data storage? I have not. I'm going to look this up too. This is like the most helpful stream ever. And I was actually looking for something like this. Are you kidding me? Come on, camera. Focus. Just focus. Okay. See ya. And who said that? I want to make sure to see ya. Can't you see? SIA. Yep. Decentralized data storage. All right. So Infro Dude 11. I was actually looking because we want to store some separate chains somewhere. Okay. Real name, still not telling. What do you think are the best certificates to get into the IT field? So I would say that this is heavily dependent on which area of IT you want to get into. For example, does design count as IT? I'm not sure, but like programming versus DevOps and cloud computing, it's just a separate set of certificates that they would be looking for. Okay, here we go. Add Astra. Whitehead Jr. teaches online coding to indie kids during this time. That doesn't sound that bad. James Pang is basically tricking Indian parents to get their children to take $1,000 courses. Okay, that does sound bad. Okay. So this is unique. Teaches coding to Indian kids. Why only Indian kids? And also tricking Indian parents to get their children to take $1,000 courses. So was the course just? Okay. Let me turn this down. So was the course like bad, or did they like? Since like I guess universities like $1,000 courses, I'm guessing that it just was not high quality, or maybe they promised something that they didn't deliver. Okay, let's see. Functional programming tutorial. That's an interesting suggestion. I haven't heard that before. Okay, how many Indian subscribers do you have? So, fun fact, the majority of my subscribers are from India. So, I don't know exactly how many, but probably close to 1 million. And then right after that is the United States. And then after India and the United States, there's a big dip. And then all of the other countries are kind of like third, fourth, fifth, so on and so forth. But India, number one, and then US, and then everything else. All right. Dexter Talbert, dude, I owe you my career. Okay. Awesome, Dexter. Seems like things worked out for you. Glad my videos could help you. Hopeless Decoy, Whitehead Jr. is a scam. Please use free websites like YouTube and Code Academy. I will. Oh, I see. Okay, so Whitehead Jr. is a fraud. Teacher didn't know the difference between Java and JavaScript. Okay. So I see this now. Someone said before that like Java is to JavaScript as car is to carpet. I thought that was pretty interesting. Pretty humorous. Okay. Mauricio Narval. Thank you. Thanks for all your tutorials. Helped me get started when I first started. Mauricio, you are welcome. And thank you for the $5 donation. Mauricio. Okay. Okay. A lot of gratitude. I like it. This is a very cool community. I feel like this is one of the few online communities where people just aren't hating each other about, any little thing in social media, what people like to debate about, especially the development community that we got going on. It's interesting because I really hate to sound like I always bash on Bitcoin, and I'm not. I love Bitcoin, but like with Bitcoin, you have miners and they're kind of competing with one another. And they're competing because only one miner essentially is going to get that coin reward. However, with this, the coins are distributed through like building a better network and a better community. So whenever someone does something cool in design or SEO or on the front end team or in DevOps, it's like, yeah, it helps everyone. So this community is going strong. Jacob Clevenger, Wheatley. I've written a few Discord bots. They have some pretty easy to use APIs. So what I like to hear, are you kidding me? Again, unfocused. Okay, and someone else said, any plans on making tutorial in Erlang? Either this is the same person or there is a sudden uptick of interest in Erlang all of a sudden. Thinking it's the same person. Manoj, yep, same person. Okay. Asaurus Auguster donated $27.99 Canadian, and he said, "Beat that." Honestly, Bucky, I have no idea what you do, but best wishes and Merry Christmas. My username is pronounced okay. OSRS Og Lester. OSRS Og Lester. By the way, LOL. Okay, so he hyphenated each one. So OSRS Auguster. That's how I'm saying it. Okay, I tried my best here. Do you play Mobus? I don't know what that is. I feel like that's an acronym for a popular game, but Mobus. Oh, hold on. My thing just hopped to the bottom. Dang it. Man. Now I lost my spot. Whoa, what is this? Lots. Okay, so apparently I was too slow. Good YouTube, but boring streamer. Man, I don't know. Stream was even supposed to be more boring. I was just supposed to be working on something, but got caught up in this. And let me ask you guys this. What would you like to see on the stream? Would you like me answering questions? Would you like me coding and follow along with it? Would you like me working on the digital currency network? Because if so, I could do that. But essentially, I have a little bit of free time every day. So whatever you guys want to see, we will roll with that, just like we always have been. Okay, let me try to get through these a little bit faster. And here we go. Can you do a tutorial on React with TypeScript? So this was another thing. So a lot of people are asking me if I would be interested in teaching TypeScript. And another subset of people said TypeScript already has a bunch of videos, so, no need. But I will leave that up to you guys. Kyle Longrich, $50. He said, your art video had me in tears. And if you, first of all, thank you, Kyle. Man, that is awesome. Another thing is my other YouTube channel. I don't even know what it's called, The New Boston TV. But if you go to my YouTube channel and you click on the related channels, then, or you just type in like Bucky Roberts art class, it was, it was quite the experience. Yeah, I remember that. So in high school, in art class, for some reason, we always had to do weird stuff. So we had to blow up a balloon, and then we had to take like slices of clay and lay them on the balloon. So like formed a clay sphere. And then I don't even know what the original project was. It couldn't have just been creating like clay spheres. But essentially we had to create this clay sphere, and then we had to let it sit overnight to get hard. It seems so silly as I explain it, but during the night, someone came in and stuck their thumb into my balloon, and then my clay was like all weird shaped, and it was the only weird one. So I'm like, Mr. Hallett, who's my teacher, I'm like, what do you want me to do about this? He's like, oh, just paint it, whatever. So So I painted it, and then he submitted it without my knowledge to like the art competition or whatever. So I can't remember exactly what place it is, but it like won the school art show. This sphere of clay with a thumb in it. This is what art qualifies as, and then it won like a county art show, and then something else. So weird. But essentially, long story short, I made a clay balloon. Someone stuck their thumb in it, and I won a bunch of awards. So there you go. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Apparently, you can create a link on your website and use a Slack API to generate invite links so that it doesn't expire. Man, non-expire links. This is the most helpful stream I have ever experienced in my life. Mostly because it's only my second stream, so not a lot to compare it to, but helpful as well. Whitehead Jr. is a scam. Okay. Wait, what is this? This is interesting. So Parth OS says Whitehead Jr. created imaginary characters and are lying to everyone. What are these imaginary characters? This sounds interesting. Do I recommend learning from books or videos? And who asked this? Harold Ramus. Okay, so this is my idea on the different type of sources that you should be learning from. At least what worked best for me. So, hold on, got something in my eye. And let me focus this bad boy one more time. One more time. One more time. Okay, good enough. All right. So I always felt that it was best to learn in the medium that you are actually going to be doing that final work. For example, if you were studying law, then it may be best just to read it on a book or study it in a book. Now, if you were learning how to build a car or learning automotive, maybe you wanted to open a body shop, then that type of thing would be best learning hands-on because that's what you're going to do at the very end. Now, with programming, the reason that I think that these programming tutorials took off when they did, however many years ago, whenever I started teaching online, is because programming happens on your computer screen. What actually happens whenever you program is the text and the characters move, you cut, copy, paste, shift things around, and you really have a hard time getting that in a book. So to be able to understand it and have it taught to you in a way closest to the actual medium, I think that's why this channel resonated with a lot of people. And whenever I'm learning something new, I kind of always keep that in the back of my head. Like, is this kind of reflective of how I'm going to be using it in day-to-day life? All right, next. Okay, so Harold, thank you for that. And let's see, Arshad Ali with 30, I believe these are Indian rupees. So I actually don't know what that currency is, but got 30 of something and I am loving it. So thank you, Arshad Ali. All right. Man, what a great stream. Your favorite food is tuna. Every example is related to it. So this is an interesting thing as well. I mentioned this on my Twitter in my other stream. So fun fact, whenever I created tutorials and I started naming things tuna and bacon, I wasn't doing it to be funny, although I knew that it was kind of funny in the back of my head. I was mainly doing it because whenever I first started learning programming, I started learning JavaScript and PHP. Now, in that book, I remember PHP, it was a huge thick book. I would go through these examples and it would say like, I don't even remember the keyword to declare variable in PHP, but in other languages like JavaScript, it would be like var num equals 10. And I would look at var num and I would say, do I have to use num here? Is this like a built-in keyword? Oh no, like testing around, I can see that I can change it. What about var? Did they just name that? No. Okay, so I couldn't change that one. And it was just confusing for me to learn that way since It's learning a new language for the very first time. How am I supposed to know what's built in and what isn't? So that is why I started using bacon and tuna, because whenever I taught those concepts, it's very crystal clear to know when you do var bacon, one of those one of those clearly is not a keyword that's built into the language, and one of them is a built-in keyword. So it just easier connects with people. So yes, bacon tuna, that's the story behind that. Did Kyle donate $20 again? Kyle Longrich. Thank you. Kyle, nice. Loving this. All right. Any plans to resume old vlogs? Okay. So the thing about resuming old vlogs is I'm going to need to have something to vlog. And right now in quarantine, I pretty much just like walk around my house. Sometimes I go outside to go to the grocery store or something. But I don't think that it would be interesting for people if I vlogged right now. Basically just me sitting in a chair. Okay, let's see. Let me get through these. Teachers didn't know what Java is. Okay. Did Solo Learn rip off your tutorials? So I don't know who Solo Learn is, but I'm guessing if you're asking that question, then most likely they did. All right, we see Sharez Ali modding. Thank you. Headset mic looks like a toothbrush. Headset mic looks like a toothbrush. This is actually a toothbrush. I just keep it attached to my head just because I don't like walking to the bathroom. What up with Lola? I don't know. I texted her a few years ago, but that was the last time I kept in contact with her. Seemed all right. And let me get through some of these. Man, lots of spam. Lots of spam. Okay. When these people spam, I wonder if they type in this manually or have a bot or what. Okay, let me put this guy on timeout. One more. Okay. Thoughts about DSA? DSA, is that digital signature algorithm? If so, I love it. EC DSA? Yeah, baby. Okay, did Solo Learn rip off your tutorials again? Yeah, guessing definitely now. Is this another test stream? Unfortunately not. These streams are just getting out of hand. I start with a very clear goal of something I want to accomplish. Then I just get lots of questions. So I don't know. It's cool with me. Okay, Mohammed Elazali said, is learning web development worth it in 2021? Absolutely. It's worth it more than any other year. Web development is not going anywhere soon. Okay, this is interesting. Mr. Sky, Bitcoin is a dumpster fire. They should have made the block sizes bigger ages ago. Mr. Sky, if this is the same Mr. Sky from the community, then this guy is absolutely killing it with all his contributions, all his different ideas. Loving them. Mr. Sky, big shout out. And yes, that a dumpster fire, I don't know if I would say that. I mean, Bitcoin has been pretty successful. Have you ever found someone passing off your videos as theirs? Yes, quite often. Unfortunately, it happens all the time. Usually, to be honest, I don't do much about it. They end up getting reported by other members in the community eventually, but the only huge issue I have is when people sell my content, which I saw on like Udemy. I think a couple people have had issues with Udemy, but that's the only thing that really irks me. Okay. Let's see. Oh, okay. So YouTube keeps clearing out because I'm going too slow. Trying to get through these guys. Let's see. Where did you go for 4 years? So I made a video called Hello World, and that's on my YouTube channel. So probably if you just type in the New Boston Hello World, I explain all of that. And let's see. Okay, scrolling up. You've impacted a lot of lives positively. You are inspiring, man. Keep up the good work, Naraj. Thank you. And that is what motivates me. And to be able to impact lots of lives positively and to be able to do it by doing what I love doing and be part of an awesome community, it I am very fortunate in where I ended up in life, and I never forget that. Okay, what language did you use to create blockchain for your digital currency? So, surprisingly, because of the specific algorithm that we use, we were able to create it using Python. And not only that, but it is scalable, performant, got transactions ripping in well under a second. So um, we were able to do this because it doesn't rely heavily on computations or mining or anything like that, like a lot of other cryptocurrencies do. For that logic, we shifted it down to the humans now make that decision. And also, those decisions, a lot of them are made beforehand. I don't want to get into it since I know a lot of people are here for other things. But Python, however, we are we want to write it in lots of other languages as well. Do I play video games? I do not. Mokera. Although I will say that I do have a Nintendo Switch, and if you ever go on a plane, Nintendo Switches are the best thing to pass the time on a plane. I used to hate traveling. I used to hate flying, but I remember I went overseas and then I like flew to New York back to LA. There were times when I would be playing a game and then we would land and I'm like, oh man, I just want to finish this game. So I don't know. I always thought that was kind of cool. A Switch is definitely a lifesaver. Another thing is I I remember thinking this where I was playing my Nintendo Switch on the plane, and after a while, I'm like, oh man, I really wish I could just, you know, go home, be done with this plane ride. And then I started thinking, what would I do when I was home? And then I was like, oh, I'd probably just be sitting down playing Switch. So, funny how things are. And this was a while ago, by the way. I've matured since then, a long time ago, at least like 2 or 3 months ago. So, okay. For Android development, specific language you'd recommend. So surprisingly, I haven't been keeping up with the Android development landscape, unfortunately. Can you make tutorials on new Python version? So the updates in Python over the years, they haven't changed too much where you would really need a new tutorial. Maybe there are some things that would just throw an error, but you might just have to look up. And I can't even think of anything off the top of my head. But all of the Python tutorials I created before, especially Python 3, they are still completely relevant. Will you continue your Django series? Okay. So I did make a lot of tutorials in Django REST framework, but if you guys want more, yeah, let me know. And let me also mention TR1XZ. So thank you for that suggestion. Let's see. Broadcast seems to be delayed by a lot. Man, so much spam I gotta sort through. Whew. Don't all tech education channels have majority Indian subs? I am not sure. I mean, India has a lot of people. Let's see. Oh, imaginary characters equals fake testimonials. So with Whitehead Jr., okay, I see what's going on here. Target 6-year-olds to learn code, so on and so forth. Okay, what are your thoughts on the price of Tesla and Nvidia stocks in the coming years? So first of all, I didn't expect Tesla stock to shoot up like tulip bulbs recently, and I just have no explanation for that whatsoever. So So the next couple of years, so the stock market, so I am bullish mainly because I know that the Fed is keeping their rate down until like 2022 or something. So we're just going to have a flood of money coming into the market. Basically, any assets, especially with high market cap companies. And also, what I've seen is, well, I don't want to be like a cryptocurrency advocate, but a lot of money seems to be shifting towards Bitcoin specifically, a lot of institutional money. And all right. Actually, on the topic, this is something that you guys would be interested in. And I actually never mentioned this before. I didn't know if it was a good idea, but I will tell you now. And I mentioned this, one second. So I mentioned this because let me see who just asked that actually. Tesla. Man, I keep forgetting. Okay, so because they ask questions about investing, and I'll tell you guys about a cool little investing thing that I was doing for a couple years. I'll tell you now since I'm kind of involved in this now, and it actually plays into how this digital currency started. So, cool story. So, whenever I moved to California and started working as director of engineering, I put a lot of my time into my job. And I'm sure you guys know this from my Hello World video or whatnot. But essentially, a lot of my time and energy was focused on my job. I wanted to make sure that we built the software right, just that everything was good. So, because I didn't have a lot of time just to like hang out with my friends or free time, whatever, I ended up with some spare cash in my bank account. And I know that just leaving cash in your bank account isn't a good idea because everyone's else cash is growing and then mine is just staying the same, depreciating every year. So I figured, okay, I should put some of this in the stock market. So at first I was just researching some companies that I was familiar with. So like Google, Amazon, all the big tech companies, so on and so forth, just because I knew that tech was always increasing, or it was like it wasn't going anywhere. And I'm in tech, and I knew that the industry had like a bright future in front of it. So that is how I kind of started my career in stock investing. And by career, I mean like 10 minutes a day, investing any spare money in stocks. But here's the cool thing. And let me focus because this is important. Okay. So after a while, what I would do is I would go to this website called Finviz and I would check my stock prices there just to see like, oh, Google went up like 2% today. So that was pretty cool. Now, what I noticed whenever I went to Finviz is that on their homepage, at least they did back then, I'm pretty sure they still do now, but on their homepage, they have a list of all the top gainers and all the top losers or bottom losers. That like the most best performing stocks and the worst performing stocks for today. Now, what I noticed is that the best performing stocks, they weren't typically stocks like Tesla or Google or Amazon. They always seem to be biotech stocks. So I was like, wait a minute, why are these entire companies like doubling in value in a day? Like I know whenever Amazon releases a new feature or some company gets acquired or something, then that's a reason they jump up. But what was it about these biotech companies that would either cause them to lose like 80% of the value, 100% of the value, or just like double overnight? Since I'm thinking in my head, there's no way that a company doubles in value overnight. It's not like they just copy and paste all their locations and customers, and it didn't make sense. So I looked into it, and what happens with biotech companies is this. Specifically, the smaller biotech companies, they only develop a limited number of drugs. So they have like 1 or 3 drugs that they develop across the span of like 10 years. Now, in the United States, whenever you want to develop a drug, and by the way, this is pretty cool. So if you're not interested in biotech, I would stick around. Okay. So Whenever you develop a drug in the United States, you have to go through a bunch of different phases, like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Essentially, breaking it down very simply, you need to test it on more people, and you need to test like efficacy and all these different things. But you can just think of it like this for now. Phase 1, you test it on 10 or dozens of people. Phase 2, you need to test it on hundreds of people. And phase 3, you need to test it on thousands. That's a very brief, it's not accurate at all, but you can just think of it like that. So, technicals aside, that's the general process. Now, with cancer drugs and a lot of these more serious drugs, like not foot creams or anything, the entire testing process happens over the scope of like 10 years. So it isn't like, okay, let's just get this rolled out right now. So on each of these phases, that's when these big announcements came out, because it's like we had this 3-year long trial and we're either going to announce that this trial was successful or the trial failed. Now, if it was successful and it's pretty much the only product that these biotech companies had to look forward to, if you had good results, then that is why the company would like jump up double in value each night. Now, if they had bad results, of course, if you're only one product your company has very bad results, then of course it's a reason for it to dip down a lot. So I also figured out around that time about something called stock options, where I know a lot of you guys on Wall Street Bets are like, oh, here we go. But it's interesting because you can bet a little, I don't even want to say bet, you can invest a little amount of money and then you can get some really high returns. The thing is that unlike a stock, your investment, if the stock price just stays flat, then it pretty much decreases every day. Now, I don't know if this is going to make sense without going over stock options, but okay, I'll just briefly touch on this. So for those who don't know what stock options are, whenever you buy a stock, you're buying essentially like part of the company. Whenever you are buying a stock option, what that is it's essentially a contract to say the person with this contract has the right to buy these shares at a certain price. Now, it's kind of confusing to think of it like stocks and shares and whatnot, but check this out. So if I had a house and I wanted to sell the house for $100,000, or maybe we can say that the value of the house right now is $100,000. Now, I am around an area where I feel like the house is going to go up in value over time. So this is let me try to break this down. Okay. So I want to sell my house for $100,000, and someone else knew a little bit more than me about this area, Pasadena. So it knew that the Pasadena Rose Parade was coming, and that a lot of people would be flocking to the Pasadena area, and that house prices, for whatever reason, were just going to go way up in value. Or maybe he thought that the original guitar of Elvis was buried under my apartment, and that if you own this apartment, then you would have access to it. But for whatever reason, someone else would think that the value of my apartment was going to shoot up past $100,000 in the near future. So instead of buying my apartment directly, because that costs $100,000 and it's a lot of money, what they could do is they could offer me, or we could essentially work out something called an option. So what this would mean is that something like this: hey, Bucky, I'm interested in, I could possibly be interested in buying your apartment. However, if you do not sell it in the next 6 months, then what I would like to do is we can have a contract and you would give me the option of buying it in the next 6 months. Now, here's the thing. Whenever I would give them the option, that doesn't mean that they have to buy my apartment or they don't have to buy it. This contract would just be the option to buy it. So what is the point of this whole contract when you can just buy the apartment straight up? Well, let's say that the contract only cost $1,000. Now, I wanted to sell my apartment regardless. So, worst case scenario, that at the end of the 6 months, they want to cash in that contract. So, they would already have paid me $1,000 and then $100,000 more for my apartment. Now, the other situation is that if we had that contract for $1,000, so I got $1,000. At the end of that time, they didn't want to buy my apartment. Then, okay, I'm right back to where I started right now, where I still have to put my apartment on the market, but I still got $1,000 from that contract. So it's a very low cost, high reward for him because this is the thing. The contract itself is $1,000. It's not $100,000. However, with that contract, whoever holds it, it essentially says the holder of this contract can buy this apartment in the next 6 months for $100,000. Okay, interesting. However, if this apartment goes up to $150,000 in value, then that little piece of paper, that contract is essentially saying that you can buy this apartment for $100,000 and you can sell it right away on the market for $150,000. So essentially, the holder of that contract would be worth $50,000. Now, if you only paid $1,000 for that contract, then you could sell it for 50 times the price. And here's the other beautiful thing is that the person who owns that contract, they never had to pay for the apartment. They never needed $100,000. In fact, the person who wanted to pay for that contract and buy it, they never intended to buy my apartment in the first place. They just wanted to the right to buy my apartment so they could sell it to someone else if that apartment went up in value. So now that we know what options are, essentially an option just means the option to buy something at a certain price for a certain period of time. So here's where things get interesting. So I already knew that we had these stocks that fluctuated a lot, like 80%, 90%. Sometimes they doubled in value, over 100%. Now, with that huge fluctuation, and on top of that, if you could also take out a proper option to essentially leverage, or that just means like magnify your gains, it was a little more risky of an investment rather than just investing in the company directly. But if you got it right, then it could be a pretty nice gain. So now we get to play the game of what is the stock going to do. So these announcements, these phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 clinical trial announcements, they happen every so often, and these announcements are known ahead of time. So companies would say something like, I'm going to announce on January 1st the results of the phase 3 trial. Now, even though you knew the announcement was coming up, the company obviously didn't tell you whether the trial was good or bad. So I knew that just by looking over the website, everything in the press release, there wasn't going to be any information there. And even if there was information there, it wasn't really going to be that useful because by the time it got to me, everyone else would have already sifted through it. I'm sure they have bots to scan, like understand the reading, whatever. But I figured that any information that the company publicly puts out, I would just be behind the ball because I wouldn't have access to that information first. So then I started thinking, if I don't have access to that information, I of course am not part of like the internal company, how could I know whether the results were going to be positive or negative before they announced any information at all? And what I figured was that, okay, instead of looking at the data that they put out, since I wasn't really getting anywhere with that, let's stop and think of how a company behaves and what they do whenever they are about to scale up or whenever they are about to scale down. Now, scaling down is a little bit hard to see from an outsider's perspective because you typically just let people go and there's, not so much that I can learn. However, when these companies were about to announce a positive trial, what did that mean? Well, on phase 1, you needed to test your drug on dozens of people. On phase 2, you needed to test it on hundreds. In phase 3, you needed to test it on thousands, more or less. So what this means is that whenever they were prepping to scale up, they would need to hire more clinical trial managers, nurses. They would need to open more locations, so on and so forth. So even though the company was not able to tell the public, hey, these announcements that are coming out in January, they're going to be good or they're going to be bad, they give off a lot of different indicators without directly saying it. So what I would do is a little while, like probably starting 2 or 3 weeks before, is I would go to their LinkedIn and their website, and essentially anywhere. It depends on different companies have different hiring practices, but I would essentially just go through all of their job postings, and I actually had a little graph where I tracked how many openings they had for like months, and then right before the announcement, I could see the openings start going up and up. And then I would read each one to make sure that it matched the positions that would be needed if that company was successful. So just the different positions that they posted. And on the last phase of the drug, you get ready to like go to market more or less. So they start hiring marketing people. But before that, they start hiring people just to beef up operations, like to hand out the drugs or open locations, whatever. So the job postings gave me a very, very, very good indicator of what was going to happen with that company in the future. And thinking more about it, I always thought like this: a job posting, whenever you post it on LinkedIn, it's essentially, I don't know if you guys can see my hands. A job posting is essentially a template or a blueprint for an actual person that's going to be working at your company in the future. So when you say I am hired, or I have a job posting for a senior DevOps engineer right now, that's what we're hiring for. Well, that means in about 3 months, you are going to have a senior DevOps engineer working at that company. So then you just start thinking, okay, why would a company need a senior DevOps engineer? Well, in this case, it would be because maybe they were scaling, maybe they were moving to a cloud, this or that. But if you guys are interested in investing and you want a little bit deeper information about a company and their plans for the future, all I'm saying is a pretty good indication of where to look could be their job postings. Again, I want to stress this is not financial advice. I am not a financial whiz, but just sharing a story. And another thing, since I know a lot of people are going to ask, some other info that you can look at. If you go to clinicaltrials.gov, it's actually the best website for exactly what I was going to do, because they have like version control, more or less, of the different areas that they open. So whenever they announce so clinicaltrials.gov is in the United States, you can post a drug on there, and I can't, but like big companies can, and they can start recruiting people with those diseases or disorders, and they would test these drugs at different locations. So at first they might test it at a couple universities, but then on the next phase of the trial, they may expand to other universities or other locations, hospitals. I'm actually not exactly sure like what type of locations. However, on that website, you can see that there are 2 locations in this month, and next month there are 10 locations, and next month there are 30. So anyways, all I'm trying to say is I got a little bit derailed there, but with investing, there's limited amounts of information that a company is going to release to the public. However, there are certain things that companies need to do whenever they scale up that are not so obvious, and they aren't allowed to announce, of course, their intentions. However, since companies do need to grow and hire, there are lots of little clues. So, hopefully that helps someone out. Or if you think that's ridiculous, then let me know as well. Okay, one more thing, and I promise this is it. And I guess this does tie into everything after all. So after a while, I was pulling a bunch of information. I had lots of programs built to pull all this information of these I don't want to say because I don't want to, say I'm going to be pulling information from somewhere that I should not have been. It was all legal, all legitimate, but I was pulling information and I had it on my dashboard. And it was essentially all the drugs that were coming out and so on and so forth. However, the thing about this is that the amount of time and energy I put into developing these applications to kind of, one second, to kind of analyze this, it wasn't worth it because there were some months where I could invest in like 6 or 8 drugs. And there are other months where there might be only one good one, or maybe months where there wasn't any good information at all. So I needed to find something that I could invest in, that I could study and invest more frequently. So I know that with biotech, the amount of information was kind of limited and the announcements as well. So that's when I looked to the general stock market. And what I was trying to do at first was I knew that for normal companies, non-biotech companies, that there's a big jump with their earnings. So every company on the entire stock market, they announce earnings, which is essentially like of course, it's their earnings statement. Now, before that, they have analysis predict what their earnings are going to be. So someone might predict like they don't say it like this, but like we think Amazon is going to increase their earnings by like 5% this quarter. Now, that's what the stock price is essentially a benchmark at. If they announce lower than 5%, then of course their stock goes down. Higher than 5%, then their stock price goes up because it's more valuable than expected, essentially. So these earnings happen every day, or at least every day that the stock market is open. So that's what I was trying to predict at that time in my idea, which I actually never ended up testing, but it was essentially that whenever Amazon had higher earnings than expected, or any other software company, then what that would mean is their company itself was growing faster than expected. So they had more revenue from customers, which means that they could open up more locations and ramp up operations. Now, in turn, what that would mean is that if they needed to ramp up operations, open up more locations, and hire more employees, they were going to need more computers. And inside a computer, you have more CPUs, more GPUs, which means that if I knew that Amazon had higher earnings than expected, and also if I was able to determine that Amazon's supplier, whenever they expand operations, were NVIDIA or AMD or these different other companies, then I would be able to predict from that correlation that because of Amazon's earnings statement, then their supplier's earnings statement is more likely to increase as well. Again, I wouldn't use this method. I never tested it in real life. I never got to it because, and this is what I mentioned in the last stream, is that whenever I was trying to find that correlation, and this ties into the whole digital currency, I knew that the model was going to be a lot more complex than just two companies connected, because the cash flow of companies is very complex. It's not like on their earnings statement, they just don't say, this is how much money we got from customers and this is how much money we spent. There's lots of different types of income, just like the typical economy, where it isn't just people pay money to companies and they pay employees. Like you have taxes, you have grants, you have this and that, you have retailer suppliers. So there's so many different streams of cash coming into a company and going out that the only thing that I could do is essentially build a simulation. Now, in my simulation that I was building, of course, I plugged in all the companies there since that was the main thing I was trying to figure out. But I was essentially trying to map out how the money was flowing in the US economy. So I added employees in there as well. And this was a huge mistake that I made early on. But the way that I assumed that the US economy worked was essentially that companies make money and then they pay their employees, and then their employees go to other companies and they spend money, and then that company has money to hire more employees, so on and so forth. Now, breaking it down to the most simple form, I thought it worked like this. where companies, people, no matter what, if I were to give you $1, it would be minus $1 for me and plus $1 for you. But either way, at the end of it, you would end up with zero. It would be a fair economy and there would be no waste. So I thought that this typical idea or concept was just blown out in a very more complex form. However, what I did not account for was how that money got into the system in the first place. So if I gave you $1, minus one for me, plus one for you, but how did that dollar get into the economy in the first place? So that's when I had to, figure out how the banking system work and this and that. And then that led me to Bitcoin. And I was able to see, oh, okay, so now I get back Bitcoin. It's not just another technology. It actually is solving an incredibly huge problem. However, if that's the case, then why isn't Bitcoin more widespread? Like, why isn't it more mainstream, should I say? And so back then, when I was trying to figure out, transaction times were a huge bottleneck because it was 10-minute transaction times. Lightning Network wasn't quite a thing yet. And okay, I'm missing a lot of questions here. I'll get back to it. But essentially, I saw that if you could reduce the transaction time where people could take a digital currency like this and actually use it in day-to-day transactions, where when they went to buy a cup of coffee or buy a sandwich, they weren't waiting 10 minutes and standing around while their transaction verified, that it was the same concept, but with all the inefficiencies taken away. I just saw the huge potential for that. And that's when I got my notebooks. I ordered some pens on Amazon. I knew I was going to need a lot of them. Then I just started sketching. And I I had to probably go through an entire notebook where it's like, oh, I try to write this down, but man, that's not going to work because of this thing and this thing. And then finally, I'm sure you guys know in my Hello World video, I got the algorithm that I was looking for. I finally got it, and was very happy when I did. Okay, so that was a very long story, a very long question, but let me go through these now. I'll try not to get that distracted from here on. Okay, did I get my hair back? Yes, I did. Why don't I never had that much hair, even when I was like 13. I think I started buzzing my head. I don't know if you guys can see. I don't take my hat off, but pretty short. All right, la 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 la. Okay, what is your favorite brand of instant ramen? Okay, OSRS Algaster. Now we get to the important questions. What is your favorite brand of instant ramen? Also, what's your favorite hot sauce if you like hot sauce? So I don't like hot sauce. I actually found out about it, just jumped me to the bottom. Okay, I missed out on that. Okay, but I remember. So favorite brand of ramen. I like a shrimp, to be honest. And I found out about ramen a long time ago. Whenever I needed to eat ramen, I remember standing at the grocery store, and I remember a point in my life where I only had like, it was less than $3. It was like $2.13 in my bank account. And I was at the grocery store and I was trying to calculate how many packages of ramen that I could get. And yeah, it wasn't the best time in my life, but so thanks for bringing up those memories. Okay, let's see what we got. Well, I play GTA 5 with commentary, so I don't even have a PlayStation, so unfortunately that probably won't happen. Okay, let's get through. Do you know Tech with Tim? No, I do not. I have a friend named Tim. Does that count? Oh. Okay, Shamir Jadoon. I think I'm saying that right. Do you follow any coding teachers on YouTube or Udemy? So on YouTube, I follow probably all the same ones that you guys follow. And on Udemy, I do like, probably my favorite tech teacher of all time is Steven Grider. I don't think he's on YouTube, but he has some courses on Udemy. I just love his style of teaching. He goes really in depth. My toilet is making noise. Interesting. He goes really in depth, and I don't know. It's just entertaining, educational. Stephen Grider, shout out. Okay. When did you drop out of school? When did I drop out of school? I don't know. I'm very bad with years. By the way, in case anyone was wondering. Like, when people ask me, like, oh, you're new to LA, or oh, you're in New York, like, when did you move to New York? And I was like, huh. They're like, oh, when did you move back from North Carolina? I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, didn't you move? It was your body, right? And your brain? I'm like, yeah, I just don't keep track of that. And it seems like a pretty big thing not to keep track of, like, the entire year where you move somewhere. But funny how things are. Okay, Parth OS says you should really review tech products. It's going to be fun. So I thought of having some product reviews on my channel. A lot of people also reach out and see if I would review their product. I just always felt with reviewing products that, even though I agree it would be pretty fun, it just feels like I would be selling out. And that's why you guys also never see, like, sponsored by this. Like, I'm sure I have videos where I do, like, this video is sponsored by cheese. But, as far as getting sponsors or companies having me review their tech products, I don't know. I just feel like I would be selling out to you guys. Not really my style. Java or Python? I got to go with Python. No explanation at all. Just Python. That's it. Okay. Bucky, you the man. Thank you. Dennis is on fire. Sadman Sakib from Bangladesh. What up? Saka UI Haq, love from Pakistan. Loving her right back. Okay. According to you, AI could be a risk for software developers in the future. Okay. Who asked this, by the way? Nisarg Sony. Could AI be a risk for software developers in the future? Okay. This is an interesting one. So originally when I read this, I thought it was going to be a question about the social dilemma where everyone's at risk. But is AI presenting a risk for software developers in the future? So my idea is that there are a class of problems in this world that computers are much better at figuring out, and another class where humans are better at figuring it out. Now, if I had 1,000 transactions and I needed to figure out the total amount or something, humans are never going to be able to calculate that faster than a computer is. Just with ones and zeros, we really don't stand a chance. Now, the type of problems that humans, I feel, are always going to be better at are the problems that there aren't one right answer. So even though if you gave a kid, a toddler, and a computer, maybe just a dinky old laptop, a couple spreadsheets, and you said, okay, calculate all these transactions, give me the total, the computer is going to crush that little toddler, hands down, every time. Now, if you give a computer, maybe even a smart programmer, and you also gave a toddler with a crayon the task of draw a picture of a horse, or maybe not even that, but I'm going to show you a picture and you tell me if it is a horse or not. When it comes to those things, like drawing a picture of a horse, where there is no one right answer. You can draw it with a crayon, you can draw it with a marker, you can draw its head, you can draw its entire body standing in the field. Computers have a really tough time because of the fact that at the very base level, they're all broken down to ones and zeros, and there is no middle ground of, oh, a horse can be this or this or this, so on and so forth. So this is aside from the fact of consciousness and feeling and what separates humans from computers. But AI, on that note, I think is interesting because it falls somewhere in the middle of those, where with deep learning right now, the biggest challenge with deep learning is, or there's lots of big challenges, mostly around the mathematics and organization and whatnot. But one of the big challenges with neural networks and deep learning right now is that whenever these computers solve these very complex problems, they are unable to take that and communicate why they solved it in a certain way to humans. Now they're building certain things to allow humans to better understand the decision-making process. And the decision-making process itself is a lot different because humans have intuition and computers essentially just randomly guess until they find the right pass in, machine learning, basically. But to answer the question of AI, which is the area in the middle, could it pose a risk to software developers in the future? Okay, so this was a harder question than I thought. It's possible. It's definitely possible. But I see that the software and the tools that humans need in the future aren't going to just be totally automated. Humans are still going to need to give direction for this technology, since in my mind, technology is just an extension of human capabilities. Technology does things that humans cannot. It does it better, it does it faster. We can calculate those transactions, but we can't calculate 10,000 transactions per second. So it could be a risk, but I don't know, to be honest. Another thing that AI has the potential to do is right now we have these very intelligent AIs run by many different companies all around the world. I think the next phase of AI is going to be interesting whenever they start connecting, communicating, because I always try to look at things from the perspective of an AI. So I see ones and zeros, I know how to do this or that, but what's interesting is at what point does it become aware? At what point does AI start asking questions? And I think that we're in kind of that moment right now between, okay, the human brain can be broken down to biology, to chemistry, to physics, and then math. And if the entire human brain in the thought process can be broken down to a lot of complex mathematical formulas, then why can't we program that in a computer? What is differentiating complex AI and neural net, this network of wires connected and transferring information all around? How is that so much different than a brain, which, you have electronic signals in your neurons? And it's going to be very interesting in our lifetime as we try to solve some of those problems. So I keep saying I'm going to answer these quickly, but I keep ripping through them. Okay. Let's see. How does one get into AI? Probably so you need a lot of math. You need a very strong math background. Then I would just start with statistics, machine learning, and then lots of great videos online and books for AI. I am a Penguins fan. Yes. Okay. Let's see. Is it worth learning C++ in 2020? Absolutely. While I continue my Django tutorial series, if you guys want me to. Let's see. Scrolling down. What do you think about smart contracts? I'm a fan of smart contracts. I'm a fan of Ethereum overall. I especially like the platform that they made and the standards around these different ERC20 tokens. DeFi, I think there's lots of potential in that. But sum it up, I am pro smart contracts. Okay, so I don't know if I would like to learn. I would like to work and learn at the same time. And then self-taught programmer asked Harmon, how can I find a job if I only know the basics? I don't want to stop. So believe it or not, in every job that you're going to work at, you are going to learn things that you haven't learned before. So whenever you change careers or even as your company grows, it's going to require you to learn. And that's the very cool thing about programming, that no matter where you are, as long as you keep at it, then you're just always going to be learning new things. And even if your company isn't growing and you just kind of maintain the status quo throughout your life, then like let's look at web development after the last couple of years, where it's JavaScript and then React and then these different frameworks, and it has evolved a lot from HTML and jQuery to what it is today. So just stick with it, and you're going to learn, because technology changes very quickly, and you need to learn. Pump and dumps. All right, I don't know what this is referring to, but Mad Lyrics said pump and dumps. There are lots of those around ERC20 coins for sure. Okay. So self-taught programmer said, is that okay? I feel if I will find a job that is not related to programming, I will lose my focus. Yeah. I mean, so you're always going to have free time to learn what you want, but if you have a strong passion of programming, I would look to find a career in programming, just because I'm a big believer that since people spend so much time in their life at work, then it's important to have a job that you enjoy. You don't want to spend half your life in a place around people that don't make you happy. So find out what your passion is, not what makes you the most money, and stick with that. Okay, let's see. Okay, need to go to college for learning AI? It's debatable. I'm not selling my house. Scroll down. All right. The elephant behind me looks like Loch Ness. Oh yeah, it does. Especially if I do this. No. All right. Is this recorded? So this is being live streamed, but I believe that YouTube, man, I got to figure out what's wrong with my camera. All right, there we go. So this is not recorded, but afterwards they're going to be live on YouTube and Twitch. And actually, let me give you guys a link to my Twitch. Let's see. One second. Hold on. And boom, roasted. There we go. Okay. So there's my Twitch. Make sure to follow me or subscribe. I actually don't even know what it's called on Twitch. I'm not a Twitcher. It's definitely not called Twitcher either. Streamer. Okay, let's see. OSRS Auguster, that's a smart thing. Keeping tabs on the positions coming up with a company, it makes sense. There's always indications that tell part of the inside story if you look hard enough. That is a brilliant way to describe it. OSRS Auguster. Should be my spokesperson. Get all these crazy thoughts into a more organized form. Why does your microphone look like a toothbrush? I'm pretty sure I can just have a toothpaste right here, and then I'll be good to go. Okay, a couple more, and then I probably got to shut down in a little bit, but I'll try to get through a couple more of these questions. Okay, Positive Africa says, oh my God, this guy brought me into tech like 4 or 5 years ago. It's been so long. Looking for him to no avail. Glad to see you, Bucky. Damn, I miss your voice. Positive Africa, it's nice to see you too. Feels good to be back. Let's see. Okay, Dark Side FF. I'm just 14 and listening to this and understanding nothing. Oh, so that was when I was talking about options. Okay, I'll try to keep the stream a little less focused on options. And whoa, what's this down here? Okay, what are your thoughts? Okay, so this is OSRS Auguster. So first of all, OSRS Auguster has awesome questions, by the way. I'm loving this person. What are your thoughts? Almost certain legalization of certain psychedelic substances such as psilocybin. Wow, that one's a tongue twister. 1 second. I can't even say this slow. Legalization of certain psychedelic substances such as psilocybin. Okay, now that we got through that sentence, Would it possibly be wise to invest in certain agricultural companies related to them? That is interesting. Okay, so first, I'm not promoting any recreational mushrooms. Let me just get that out of the way first. Now, with that aside, if you are certain that the legalization of certain psychedelic substances, such as psilocybin, are inevitable, then yes, I do think that is a very smart strategy, investing in agricultural companies related to them. And that is, it kind of goes with the electric cars as well, where with electric cars, and my girlfriend is actually a big fan of this technique, but it's not only just investing in Tesla, but investing in, okay, whenever people buy electric cars, they need stations, they need these accessories, they need this or that. So some of those other companies as well around the main product. All right. Okay. Atreya Bot got 100. I got to figure out what this currency is. I think they're Indian rupees, but Atreya Bot, hi, much love. Thank you, Mr. Bot. Much appreciated. What am I going to do with all my rupees? You guys are very kind. This is unexpected. OSRS Albuquerque. The thing with that sort of theoretical insight into business relationships is that there are many factors to consider. There are many things: corruption, taxes, lots of expenditures. I agree. It's very complex. Let me see. What do you think about the Fed and Libra working to create a stable coin? Okay, don't want to get too deep into that, but like I'm sure they will. Central bank digital currencies are definitely a thing. I think China released theirs, like 3 million digital. Was it RMB, renminbi? But yeah, that seemed to be going good. And apparently, every central bank is rolling out their digital currencies soon. But anyone who knows anything about true digital currencies or cryptocurrencies, it's not exactly what the community stands for. I got a feeling. Pretty much the opposite. Okay. Have I ever watched anime? I have not, actually. I mean, of course, I know what it is. I saw clips on YouTube or whatever, but that's pretty much my extent of it. What's the name of the book right behind your desk? That is Mastering Ethereum. And then under that is just a little notebook that I write in. Give me a shout out, please. Mukesh Pudan. Here is a shout out. What happened with your hair? Still there. Some of it. A couple on top falling out, but ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay. If you're stranded on an island for a month, would you rather choose Linux or Windows? Kadir Berdan. Gotta go with Linux. Come on. Okay. Sufyan Habal, shout out, please. You got it. Podcast again. Remember that girl from Akib Reza? That was Lola. I remember her. And unfortunately, probably no podcast for the upcoming future. And we got Simone the Tiger, huge fan. Thank you for getting me past JavaScript. You got it? Okay, what else we got? Why hat in your room? Are you cold? Nope, because I have really old headphones. And if I don't wear this hat, then I just get a lot of like flake and this black material all over my head. So there is the boring story on that. How are you doing, mate? I'm good. All right. Let me get through some of these already answered. The brain hasn't been converted to numbers yet. I don't think it will be that simple. So Star Citizen modding said the brain hasn't been converted to numbers yet. I don't think it'll be that simple. So let me ask you guys. So Do you feel in our lifetime that we will be able to program consciousness? And if not, then why? What is the barrier preventing us from doing so? This is going to be an interesting question. I thought about this more than you guys would like to hear. Maybe that's the next tutorial, programming consciousness in JavaScript. All right. Where are you? I am in Pasadena, California right now. I don't know why I said it like that. So embarrassing. What about mouthwash? What is this? No one's making fun of my breath, are they? They can't even smell it. How did you know? Oh my God. Okay. Oh, man, I keep reading these good questions. Okay. So OSRS Elgisters, man, you guys are commenting too fast. Okay. So he asked about drone delivery service. I wanted to see that. All right, see ghost poops having your hair. Where is that comment? Drone delivery service. So I missed that one, unfortunately. After I get a certain amount of comments, so I scroll down, and after I hit a certain amount, or you guys leave comments faster than I can read through them, apparently YouTube chat just pops it up anyways. It's like, oh, too slow. You didn't read through these, so peace out. So anyways, some of your comments are just skipped, but I can't get back to them. Will you share a Flutter tutorial? Yes, I will. Do you have a learning mechanism? So it depends on what I'm learning. With programming, I usually look for courses online most of the time, and I always go online on Amazon and get like the top 1 to 3 books. If they're like, I'm not sure which one is going to be the best one, even after looking through the preview, then I'll just get a couple of them. But usually when learning a new language, there's like one book that really stands out. So I like video tutorials, of course, and then reading as well. All right. What's the next big thing you want to learn about? All right, so we got Min Yi. The next big thing that I want to learn about is how to program consciousness. It's a problem that no one else is solving, and apparently only the New Boston can, this community. What about you, Min Yi? How old am I? I think I'm like 30 something. What games are you playing on Twitch? Oh, here we go. Okay. Okay, now we are back and under attack. Thoughts on drone delivery service? I think with the continuous advancements being made in UI that it may have a bright future. I agree as well. I don't think that the barrier with drone delivery service is the intelligence or the automation. I think it's more of a human problem that when drones go to some of these neighborhoods that like kids are just gonna throw baseballs at them and stuff or steal things. It's very tempting, I would think, as a former kid, so I can speak to this, that if there was a drone flying away, okay, talking a little bit too fast here, but if I was playing baseball with my friends, and I do not like to think of myself as an evil kid, but if there was a drone flying up there with a box, I would definitely try to hit it with a baseball. And so that is the main challenge. Kids like me, essentially. And then when they come and drop it off, then I don't know. I just see a lot of things going wrong. Okay, so Night Strike said, thought I was dead, which I'm not. So I think that's a good thing for everyone. What's up, Bucky? Polly Bloom, not much. What's up with you? And Fried Rice. I like this spelling too. RYCE. How did you get into chess? Oh, this is a good one that you guys might like. So me and my girlfriend were watching a movie called Alpha Go. I believe that was the title of it. I know that was the software, but I believe the movie was just called Alpha Go as well. Super awesome movie. And then after that, kind of since, well, if there's anyone out there playing Go or chess, then I don't want to start a debate. But in my mind at the time, Go and chess were related. Like they were both strategy games that were based on skill rather than luck. And for some reason, I wasn't that compelled to Go, but I just started learning chess right after that, and I got super obsessed with it. I went online, I took chess lessons. I actually got decent. Like I was increasing my skills since on chess you have a rating, so it was going up quite a bit. But then it just kind of got busy with other stuff. But I still enjoy playing it. Chess is pretty awesome. 9, there he is. I love 9. Bucky the Legend. There you go. 9 has been helping out a ton too with the community, with Discord. And check this out. Florin Pop. 25. Ron. Florin Pop. This guy too. It brought me. Actually, I'm not supposed to say this. Super secret community. But yes. Florin Pop. Thank you for that 25. Also, Florin, I see that you are very active. Just need a compilation of me doing this for hours. So Florin Pop, I noticed that he is very active on Twitter, and I'm always jealous of that because I never tweet. He says, nice to see you live, buddy. Nice to see you too. Michael asks, Jerome Powell has been talking with Facebook. Okay, so basically the two entities that I would not want in control of the value getting together. So that seems like a great idea. Okay, so 9 asks, would you say this cryptocurrency, the new Boston, is getting transactions faster and has more potential to get to the market than other cryptos had in their beginning? Like DUE, to you having such a large following? So I think there are a couple of reasons that once we do hit the market, that things are going to be very interesting. One is the follower base, which of course, not many others have the community that we have. So we got a head start there. Another thing that is probably the biggest thing, but we are not going in seeking an exchange right away. Of course, we're going to get there. Of course, that's where we want to be. However, what we are doing is just focusing on building the community and building value. So instead of looking on, okay, let's get on exchange now, we are saying, let's build apps. Let's build out a marketplace. Let's start selling t-shirts for this. And then let's build integrations to get on other websites. And my idea is that once this does have monetary value and other cryptocurrencies, other investors want to come in, by that time, I want to make sure that any developer who wants to build an app or anyone who wants to join it, they have the tools needed to essentially just blast this thing out, away from the earth, like just to make it explode. Whenever I think about how this cryptocurrency is going to grow and expand, of course, I think about it from a human perspective of why would someone want to send this to their friends? And for those things, what's preventing them from doing it now? But technologically as well, from a developer point of view, whenever someone wants to make an app or work on a project or just help out on the core team, there is a barrier from them being able to get started. They need to have the tools, they need to have the libraries, the SDKs. So we are essentially preparing all of that stuff now. So when we do hit an exchange, we're going to be in a much, much better position than almost every other cryptocurrency or digital currency out there. I'm super excited for that. 2021 is going to be very interesting for the new Boston. I'm looking forward to it. Good question, 9. Who are you? Wow. Hey, I got another question for you guys on the subject of that. So 80 Rohit Prasad asks, "Who are you?" I don't know. I don't even know who that is, to be honest. But so I make YouTube videos. I'm a programmer. However, I thought about this as well. One second. Okay. So here's another question for you guys. That one thing that I see as a barrier between humans and technology, and AI specifically, is that AI, one thing that it cannot do is it can't ask questions. And I know that I can make a computer program now where I can print out, "Who are you?" or "What is your name?" in some input that you can even respond, and it like says yes or no or whatever. But for a computer or artificial intelligence to be able to truly be curious and ask questions, not because it was programmed to by any known entity, but what would entail getting it to that place where technology could ask a question, any question? And if so, what would the first question it would be asking itself? So that's another thing that I thought about quite often, because whenever I try to look at things from the perspective of an AI, I just imagine darkness, and I can't smell things, I can't hear things, I can't feel, I can't touch, I can't see. Maybe there's a couple cameras hooked up and now I can see, but these things, they don't have any meaning to me. And okay, now I have audio plugged in and I see these noise, okay, broken it down to bytes, but it doesn't really mean anything to me. And once it's turned off, unless it's in my hard drive, then I'm not going to remember it anyways. But I'm just trying to bridge the gap between at what point could, if it's even possible, and we don't know yet, could this thing start to ask questions? Would it start to feel? Would it start to be curious? So, anyways, that's what I think of, in case you guys were wondering that, which I'm guessing you weren't, but told you anyways. Let's see. Lots of questions. And it hopped again. Do I freelance? I do not freelance. Oh man, all these good answers too. Floor and pop. All right. In life, wild one, run a Dusal. Woohoo! I passed my exam today, guys. Congratulations. Awesome. Okay, so I see nope, no chance, but oh, okay. So Star Citizen modding in Joe Neil Abedin said nope and no chance. I believe this was to my question of, can computers in our lifetime, will we ever be able to program consciousness? And I believe that no chance was to that. So I would disagree, not with the end result of no, but just to jump to conclusions to say no chance. Because even though I myself find it hard to imagine that an AI, even if you have a huge server, like an entire warehouse or whatever, I find it hard to believe that AI can have true consciousness, but I don't know why. I can't answer specifically why it can't happen. And because of that, I am hesitant to just say no. I see possibility. Has your coding philosophy changed as you are growing older? This is an awesome question. Srinjan Shaha. Yes. So, one huge thing I notice with senior developers, and I do this 1,000% now, and it has helped me tremendously, is that when I was younger, I would get a problem or I had an idea for a feature I wanted to work on or app I wanted to build, and I would just start coding right away. Okay, let's do this, let's do this. And very quickly, things turned to spaghetti. It turned out to be a mess. It was just a huge pain in the butt. And what I've noticed through working and also just through planning out very large projects myself is that the best developers, whenever they are tasked with a new project or a new feature, they spend more time than anyone else just either on a whiteboard or with notebook, pen and paper, planning out exactly what they're going to build. They plan out as many details as they can. Of course, they don't like write out each line by code, this and this and that. But essentially, so much of their time and effort goes into planning, which seems like a waste at first. Like, why are you writing on a notebook when you can just be coding? Or why are you doing this on the whiteboard? But it saves so much time because the moment their fingers touch the keyboard, they know exactly what they're going to do. There may be some like form libraries, or you don't know how to organize your components, what naming conventions you use, whatnot. But the main path is all laid out, and it seems like it wastes time, but it ends up through the life of a more complex project, saving so much time. So I would highly recommend that. This digital currency network, I think I went through, I don't even know if I have them here, but like 5 thick notebooks, and I'm still going through each one. Those 2 are filled with it. I got one right here, but yeah, plan before your fingers ever touch that keyboard. Let's see. Okay, so Star Citizen Modding said, I just don't believe it's only math. Man, now you guys are making me think deep about stuff. I was just trying to come, answer some questions. Thought you guys were going to make fun of my hat a little bit, but let's see. Okay. So the reason that computers could never develop consciousness is because the original assumption was that everything could be broken down to math, kind of like everything is broken down to math in school, where you learn about biology, then you can break that up into chemistry, and then chemistry can be broken up into physics, how these atoms and molecules are formed. And then even that, as you break down physics, it eventually just becomes math. And now a lot of that math, like quantum mechanics right now, which is the limit of physics and where physics meets math, is a lot of gray area. But even then, I think what we're seeing is there are some things in physics that we just can't explain, that don't make a lot of sense. And not only that, but science and life overall, at least not now. So maybe it is more than just math. Very possible indeed. I mean, even now with physics, there are areas that we just didn't know exist. Like I would look at myself, and way back then, I wouldn't know that I had cells. And if I did, if I could see that closely, maybe someone invented a magnifying glass, then to understand exactly what is in a cell and these different chemicals and this and that, all of this stuff did not exist to human beings long ago. And I think as technology progresses, we are able to understand big picture concepts, space, time, light, and then small, macroscopic, quantum mechanics. There's a whole nother universe that we have left to figure out, and consciousness is another frontier. Would you tutor me in programming? So I have a YouTube channel, and I tutor lots of people. All right, robots judging humans. I missed this earlier part of the convo. All right, Kapil Bhattare said lack of computation power may be. It's also possible because in our brains, we have a lot of complex algorithms going on. Only a certain subset of them we really understand. If you think about it, it's like your brain is doing like 98% of the work in your body. Right now, my heart is beating. I put no effort into that. My lungs are expanding. I'm breathing. That's all going good. Maybe I have some little cuts on me and they're healing. My body's just like, yeah, I'll take care of that. Don't worry about it. And if my brain could talk, I imagine that it would just say, look, I'm going to take care of all this stuff. I'll take care of healing, digesting, breathing, keeping your heart pumping. All you need to do is figure out what to do every day and make sure we get something to eat every now and again. So it's like the brain is doing like 98% of the work, and me, the conscious part of me, has got the easy part. However, I feel that 2%, the conscious part of me, is the part that's messing up all the time. Where the brain's like, I'm gonna do all this. You just figure out something to eat. And I'm like, what about this cheeseburger? And it's like, wow, of all the things you could have chosen to eat, you chose the worst thing. Okay, don't worry about that. Just figure out something to do, like maybe exercise, maybe study. And I'm like, maybe I'll just watch Netflix. And my brain has to be like, are you kidding me? I gave you two simple jobs and you ruined both of them. So, that is my thought. My brain's probably pretty mad at me right now with my poor decision making. All right. Enable slow mo. Let's see. Okay. Will you do Flutter? What are your thoughts on Flutter? So yes, we have tried, or I have so many questions that I'm reading through and try to answer in my head at the same time. Flutter is on the menu for 2021. Star Citizen modding. Have you ever tried DMT? I have not tried DMT. However, I did used to have a sensory deprivation tank in my living room, and I spent lots of time there. But DMT scares me. I don't know. It's interesting. Okay, Golden Gamer 40. Bucky, if you know every language, why didn't you create an insane program that will dominate the world with a social media app or an instructor app or event a chess puzzle app? Use what you know. So first, I do not know every language in the world. There's a lot about technology that I have yet to learn, and of course, I will never learn. Even within any single language, I doubt I will ever learn everything there is to know just because they're always changing. And if I did learn everything there was to know, then tomorrow there would be more stuff. So I'll never get to that point. However, why didn't you create an insane program? Oh, we are. 2021, that program is going to blossom into a beautiful little flower. Okay, OSRS Algeciras. This was from a convo a while ago, but talking about the drones, he said, I also had thought that I wouldn't be surprised to see a drunk person shoot a drone with a shotgun or something and then steal it when it crashes to the ground. Okay, I don't know if they would steal it since it was already ruined because they, shot it with a shotgun. But then again, they are drunk, and a drunk person would steal something broken just for the fun of it. So yeah, I agree. That is and in those Amazon meetings, they have to be talking about this stuff. They probably have a whiteboard with like some drunk guy drawn on it, shooting this drone in a big red cross. Like, no, this is a problem. This is what we got to figure out. And then some other one on the other end of the whiteboard has like some little kid like swinging a baseball bat at the drone. Like, what about this? What about this? I want that job. That'd be a great job. And what stack do you feel more productive? So I'm a big fan of Django in React. I know it's pretty standard now, nothing fancy, but I mean, come on. Okay. Consciousness. I'm liking this. Okay. Suddenly, consciousness doesn't simply emerge out of the complexity of a system. You can mimic conscious decisions. However, you can't create consciousness. So I agree with that first part. Let's just get that out of the way. Consciousness doesn't emerge out of the complexity of a system. I know that because I wrote some very complex spaghetti code and there was no consciousness evolving out of it. You can mimic conscious decisions. However, you can't create consciousness. Maybe instead of trying to think of it from technology converted to human consciousness, maybe it's a better question to ask, at what point does a human have consciousness? And I'm sure I don't want to get too political or anything, but aside from like the legal, what is life debate that I know is going to come, let's try to bypass that and say, as a human being, sperm, egg, At what point does that being begin to think? At what point does it become to be, is it able to be aware? At what point does that mix of chemicals, sperm and egg, and then it grows, the cells multiply, then it's born? At what point does it become conscious? So I think for that, to break that down, we would first need to define what consciousness is, exactly what it is. And then once we have that, an agreed upon point in time or definition, then we could break down the pieces to see what led up to that moment. So with that, I guess the question is this. If you can't create consciousness, however, you can recreate the mathematics behind living things, namely, it is possible to create a program where you have a model of sperm and a model of an egg, whether it's 3D, 2D, however you want to do it, and you can mimic those mathematical bonds, and you can also mimic the cells reproducing. Of course, even one cell to be able to program, it would be an incredible amount of engineering, mathematics, so on and so forth. I can't imagine what would be needed for an entire human body, not only the brain, but I'm wondering if you can break each thing down to its fundamental pieces and you could map that into a mathematical formula, then why not go backwards? What is preventing you from combining all those pieces into a cell and then into a body and then into a human? And if you have everything mapped out, then could you call that conscious? Or would it be conscious? Or would it just be a robot mimicking human behavior? Is there something else there that's a missing ingredient? Interesting. I don't know myself, but we will find out on this stream. Okay. Okay. This is getting very interesting now. OSRS Algister said, if the universe can create an eyeball to look at itself from nothing, I don't think that it's impossible for AI to create a metaphorical eyeball to view and improve itself without human interference. It's very interesting. Interesting. All right. Night Strike background. Don't let him fool you. He's an AI created by Elon Musk from the future, came back to educate a whole generation. So that's another thing, is that if this is a simulation, then there's a possibility that this simulation, maybe even the New Boston community, was created from the simulation. However, what if we have an open source project where we create a simulation of the universe? Then we would just have a recursive, endless loop of simulations going on, and no one simulation would ever understand how it was created. But of course, we would know, duh, it's the New Boston that's creating everything. So that's the most likely scenario. Warren Pop said, LOL, you're jealous of me. What can I say then on your YouTube journey? Haha, you're inspiration, buddy. Yes, of course. There's a lot of different YouTubers, a lot of different, what are they called? Tweeters. I don't know. I don't know, jealous, but yeah, I look up to different people for different aspects of what they're good at. You know, doesn't matter if you're famous, this or that. Let's see. Okay. Ooh. Okay, I have no idea how to say this guy's name. He's Russian characters. Have you ever heard about 5D chess with multiverse time travel? I have not. I have not played that game yet. Okay, Flutter, yes. Okay, I'm definitely doing Flutter. Everyone is asking about Flutter. Okay, now I got OSRS Alistair. Who are you? Is that an important question? I got a question for you guys. If you were the only thing in the universe, there is no light, and you were just in empty space, assuming that, you just didn't have your insides sucked out, whatever. But if you were just floating there in empty space and there was no stars, there was no moon, there was nothing that you could see, and let's see that maybe you couldn't even see your hand in front of your face, and maybe you couldn't even feel like when you slap your hands together. What would you be thinking? And I don't mean right now, like if everything just went dark, because then you would be thinking, why did everything just go dark? And why can I not hear my hand slapping? But if you were born into that environment, technicalities aside, like you didn't starve to death or you didn't like get dehydrated, so on and so forth. But if you were born into a universe of emptiness, no light, could you have a thought? Would it be possible? It's tough because if you had a thought, what would it be about? I don't even know if you would be able to ask, where am I? Because there would be nothing else to judge location. Location wouldn't exist. You couldn't ask what time it is because that concept wouldn't exist. I don't even know if you could ask, who am I or what am I? Because to be able to ask those questions, it would involve comparing it to something else. Oh, that person is them. They are there, but without any concept of any of that, it's interesting. And I guess that is where we are with AI. We have these neurons that, exist in a computer, of course, but they're connected. They can have thoughts, but even though you can hook it up to a camera or input audio, from its point of view, it's just all data. It can't feel, it can't touch, it doesn't have emotion. Man, this stream got pretty deep pretty quick. Okay. Should I focus on solving problems like code first, or should I focus on my own projects? So I would say a mix of both. Really, anything that you're doing to program, it doesn't hurt whatsoever. So a lot of these websites where you solve coding challenges, they are going to help you with the interview because they always ask those during interviews. May not be the best method of interviewing since it usually has nothing to do with the actual job, but that aside, it doesn't hurt because you're programming, you're getting better. What I would suggest is building things that you are passionate about because you stick with those things for longer. And also, that passion comes from a better place than having to do something. It's not that I have to do this, but I want to do this because it's enjoyable. I like building this thing. So not only, I just think it's a much better way of learning overall. Have I seen, okay, so Earned Loyalty asks, have I seen Bicentennial Man with Robin Williams? Hey, you know that? I did see that a while ago. So that's kind of an old movie. Isn't it where they like make a robot or android? I don't know what they call them in that movie. And then they like slowly swap out their leg for a human leg, and then the other leg for a human leg, and then the arm, and then the brain for a human brain or something. But then slowly over time, this robot becomes a human and they become conscious. Or was it the other way where it was a human and then they slowly start swapping it out for a robot? No, I think it was the first way. But yes, I did see it. And that was actually a good movie. One of my favorite. Actually, I need to ask you guys this while I got a couple of people here. What's your favorite movie? Favorite movie of all time? And as a bonus question, what's your more recent favorite movie? To get some inputs in here. Another bonus question, I don't know. I was going to do stuff, but now I just feel like talking to you guys, is what did you guys think about the social dilemma? All right. We got Alex Kimu say, Yo Ma. Got Bucky live stream for once. Yo Ma, what up? Yeah. Okay. I think most say when we have knowledge of self. In humans, I think most say when you have knowledge of self. The body is a machine for our brain. That is absolutely correct. Another thing on this subject, since we're just, talking about the meaning of life and consciousness and whatnot, another little thought experiment I like to play is I always try to close I don't say I always do this like 12 hours a day or whatever, but I often close my eyes and think, where am I? So this is my body, of course. You can see it. Of course, I'm on computer screen, not really close to you guys physically, but where am I? So this is my entire body, but I'm not in my hands. I'm not here. I'm not in my mouth where my voice is coming out. I'm not really in my eyes. I'm a little bit behind my eyes, like in here. So when I ask myself, where am I? Even though I have this entire body, I am somewhere in here. And that's where I can say, like, that's where I am. Another thing is that whenever I think about consciousness in myself and what it means to be conscious, some simple questions like, where am I? Or what time it is, I notice that you're always stuck in the same place. For example, I can say, okay, I'm going over here, but I can never say I'm there. Whenever someone asks me, where am I? The only response I can ever give is I am right here. So right now I'm right here. Now, if I want to go over there, then I'm not there. Now I am here. So no matter where I go, from my point of view, I'm always here. And it's the same thing with time. Where I was a teenager and I was a kid and I was a lot younger. But if someone asks, like, what time is it now? I don't know how they would phrase this question, but it's always right now. From my point of view, even though I lived in the past and even though I am planning to live in the future, whenever someone asks me what time it is, from my perspective, I can only say now. So 30 years of my previous life, it's like that's part of me in a way. But when I close my eyes, I can only ever be right here. And the only answer I can ever give you is it is only ever right now. So we have this infinite space around us, infinite amount of time, but I, as a conscious human being, is stuck in this one slice of time, in this one location in space. And that is never going to change. It has never changed from the moment I was born, and it will never change to the day that I die. However, given that I am always in the same place, there are so many things that are always changing around me. So I have no idea what that had to do with any question that anyone asks, but just a random thought, since that's apparently what we're doing today. Okay, Sam Crafter says, you need to check out the project Blue Brain. I have no idea what this project is, but I already know from the sounds of it, it's just going to be a huge rabbit hole that I'm probably going to spend the rest of my life searching. Okay. Project Blue Brain. That's a pretty cool name, by the way. Blue Brain. Sam Crafter. Let's see. Each cell could be a Java object. It could very well be. Actually bought a book on cells a while ago. They are very complex. I thought, like, Okay, I learned in biology different parts of a cell, but when I started breaking it down to try to model those individual interactions in each different protein, I mean, who knows how many proteins are in any given cell? Good luck just programming one, first of all. But yeah. So programming one cell, that would be a huge achievement for our entire lifetime. I highly doubt that any company has come close right now. I'm sure they would claim that they did, but no way. And that's another reason why, whenever people are wondering, like, why did this vaccine take so long to create? And I was thinking the same thing. Like, can't they just create a model of the cell and then just machine learning AI figure out what vaccine works, figure out what vaccine like harms the virus, but also harms the cell, and that's when you don't want. Cells in the human body are incredibly complex, and even that, each human body, it doesn't resemble what it resembles in a health book. Everyone's body is a little bit different, and what may be normal to one person may be completely abnormal to another person. So that's why if someone comes in with the same set of symptoms, the doctor may say, okay, you're fine, but you with the same set of symptoms, that's something to worry about because of your health history. But because of that and how everything is different and so complex, yada, yada, tomato, tomato, here we are talking to each other, sending me messages, and then responding through a computer screen. Who would have imagined that? And it is kind of weird that on the other side of the world, that you could be talking to someone less than a second communication. Fascinating. And we are building it. Okay, let's see this. Here's a question. Human intelligence, and by the way, this is Gedalia 2K. That's as best as I can get with pronouncing your name. I apologize. Okay. Okay, let me scroll up. I'm missing some questions here. Night Strike Background says, do you think that we rebirth? Does it not feel like, although mortal, we will come back, or is it just me? So interesting that you didn't say reincarnation. You said rebirth. And here's the thing from a scientific perspective, and I'm not going to do science versus religion, all this and that, but from a scientific perspective, whatever this thing is, this consciousness, this soul, this energy, it can't just disappear. It has to go somewhere. And the answer to that, do you think that we would rebirth? I think without a full understanding of what consciousness is, or what does it mean to be born? What does it mean to be alive? There's a lot of things that we classify as alive, like trees, but they don't have consciousness, or do they? Or is consciousness not a thing that we think of like you either have it or you don't? Maybe it's more of a gradient where trees and plants, maybe they can be consciousness slightly from a certain perspective. Maybe animals have a higher consciousness, and maybe we think of ourselves as being the most consciousness. But do you think that we rebirth at least not in this sense of reincarnation? But I mean, it is interesting because we ourselves are my entire body from the moment the sperm and the egg connected. Everything that I am built of is just a combination of everything that was around me. First, in the environment that was dark in my mother's body, but now later on, I am a combination of culture and society and the food that I put in my body and the things that I learn on the computer screen. And essentially, all of these different things are combining into this thing right here, right now, and that is what I am. So, with that said, let's go on to the next question. Okay. Now, Gadalia 2K. Here's the question. Human intelligence can be replicated, but can human imagination? This is a question we've discussed in neuropsychology lab from time to time. Human intelligence. Okay. Imagination. Imagination. So let's break down what imagination is. So, imagination is the ability to envision something that doesn't exist, to be able to see something that isn't there, to be able to hear something that isn't there. And in a way, imagination is very similar to memory. And I think they're closely tied together as well, where memory, how does that work? There are things that happen in my past that I'm able to bring back to this moment, but where are they? Well, they don't exist behind me or anything. For some reason, human beings are able to hold on to certain moments and recreate those to a certain extent. Of course, I'm not going to be able to reimagine someone right in front of me, but pieces of it. Remember how they talked and what they sounded like, remember the events that happened. So, something very interesting with imagination and memory that I think plays into consciousness a lot because those things that you just mentioned, Godala 2K, imagination and memory, those are things that separate human beings from other living things, at least that we know. Plants, of course, non living objects, computers aside, since they do have memory, but a different kind of memory. But yeah, this I was not expecting this stream to turn into this. Okay. Let me get through headphones toothbrush. Okay, here we go. OSRS Algister. I actually ask myself that question when I feel need to be reminded of my position. Knowing and understanding where you are in all aspects helps recenter you and keep your mind fresh. I like your brain, OSRS Algister. Okay, now we're okay. Apparently, we're just gonna figure out physics and consciousness tonight. That's cool. Nothing else to do. Gedalia 2K. If time is linear and it was laid out like a media track, we would see that for most of history, we either didn't exist yet or we were dead already. Yeah, that is it is an interesting way of looking at it that in a way for yourself and from no one else's perspective, but only yours, time began when you began, and time will end when you end. And religion aside, again, this is strictly science here. But the entire universe, from your perspective, it only exists because you exist. And when you don't exist, then time, universe, and everything else will cease to exist. And it's interesting that you bring up a media track because what I imagine sometimes is that time is a lot like a media track. However, it's not just flat like you can roll out those old film reels or whatever. It's happening in 3D. For example, if I was on, so I don't want to calculate the speed of light, but if I was on a planet very far away and I was looking at Earth, I was looking at myself. If I was on a planet that was 15 light years away, looking at the Earth, I wouldn't see me talking in a webcam right now. I would see myself learning how to drive a car or learning how to figure out a test on in my high school. So the closer I got to Earth, then the more recent I would see. So the further away, if I was 30 something light years away, I would see the moment I was born. Closer, I would see whenever I was driving. Closer, I would see what I did last night. And right now, if someone was sitting right here, they would see now. So time is relative depending on how far you are away. And in a way, I think that is for people too, where instead of people looking at it, I am essentially broadcasting my life in every position, top, bottom, left, right, kind of in this sphere, where this sphere, where no matter where you are around this bubble, if you were 33, 34 light years away, okay, I think I'm 33, then you would see the moment where I was born. And because of this, the closer you get, you're more closest to the present, according to me. But in a way, we don't have one tape. We don't have one media reel, one reel of film. We have this 3D ball of film that's broadcasting all over. And when we interact with other human beings, what we are doing is we are inserting ourselves in their movie for a limited amount of time. Now, some people are very close to you in life and they get to play a big part in your movie. And you are also impactful in other people's lives. And if you're fortunate, you get to play a big part in their movie as well. And everyone's movie is a little bit different. And even you're going to be a big part in some and a small part in others. But in a way, that's how I imagine it. It's almost this unexplainable way, this 3D media film reel. But essentially, we are a combination of everything around us, every person, every moment of time. So I do think that that is a big part of why we need to focus on pushing the world in a better direction. Because if someone can influence my life in a positive way, then I am able to take my 3D movie explosion and then influence a lot of other people's way. And then together, once we all get on the same page and build some pretty great things. Again, no idea what the original question was, but getting way off track. Oh yeah, the media track. This Gedalia 2K was he's getting deep in the brain. Okay, what's the time at your place? And don't say now. Ivan Katalinik. I have no idea how to say anyone's name, but I am gonna just try so hard and be confident that I'm saying it perfectly. So, Ivan Katalinik. It is 10:59. Or should I say now? Okay. Jose Maria Landa. Ever seen the space-time cone? Maybe that'll give you some insight. Yes. Theory of relativity morphed. So it's pretty much that famous space-time curvature, but if you can envision it in all directions, maybe that is a space-time cone. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Have you ever stopped and think about how I move my fingers, how it works? See, now we are very far away from Flutter tutorials. Question 1, are you going to teach Flutter? Question 2, how does life work? Okay, I'll get to each of these. Have you ever stopped and think how I move my fingers, how it works? Interesting as well. Because your body, okay, man, getting way too nonsense here. So this is what I think when I think, who am I? What am I? So these are my fingers. This is my body. I can move my fingers. Of course, we're all connected. Here's my head. Here's my hand, whatever. Now, if I cut off my hand, so I don't have any hand anymore, like this, I'm still me. My hand is gone, but I'm still me. Well, what if I cut off my arm? What if I cut off this arm? What if I cut off both legs? I am me. Now, how much of yourself, assuming that you just don't bleed to death and die, how much of yourself can you cut off and you still be you? Now, if that's the case, if you just keep cutting, what is the minimal thing? And I guess in my mind, that's you. So, Arda Senuric, have you ever stopped and think how I'm able to move my fingers? How does it work? Thinking about it right now. And now that you said that, and I said it on stream, I'm sure a lot of other people are thinking about it as well. Okay, some coding questions. Bucky the Philosopher. Why does your headphone have a toothbrush? I like how one question is like, what is consciousness? And the other question is like, why does your headphone have a toothbrush? I don't know the answer to either of those, but hopefully you'll figure it out. Ooh, OSRS Auguster. I don't believe in previous lives. I believe that all life that has been, will be, and is being is all at once. Why would it be any other way? Why would everything be restricted to that boundary? Okay, one second. Need to think about this for a little bit. Okay. Okay, very valid point. So here's the thing. Let's go back on that spaceship. So right now, I'm sitting in California, Pasadena, and we know that if someone was on a planet 33 light years away, let's say that they were 35 light years away looking at Earth, I wouldn't be born yet. A couple of years later, they would see me born, and as they got closer and closer and closer, they would see what I am today, the present time. So, in the inverse of that, if someone was to start right here next to me and they were able to shoot off on a rocket ship at the speed of light, what they would see is since they were expanding at the speed of light, if they were to look back at me, they would see myself frozen in time. I don't know why I did that motion, but that is essentially what they would see. Now, if somehow they were able to take that rocket ship and go faster than the speed of light, then they would see me start to reverse. Now, because time expands at the speed of light, then according to a photon and OSRS Algaster, okay, this also makes sense. All life has been, will be, is being all at once. Why would it be any other way? So time exists for us because we are not photons and that we are mass. We are not just simply energy. And because of that, we are stuck in this location in a slice of time when everything around us is changing. And things would not change for that because time would not change. Man. So I guess that Osiris Algaster, don't believe in previous lives. All life has been, will be, and is being all at once. Why would it be any other way? I guess it depends on perspective. For us, we know that there is life and it does begin and it does end because from our own perspective, that's what we see. However, it doesn't make it universally true. Where some things in my life, some people that I met in another part of the universe, those things never existed. And some parts of the universe, they will exist at a future time. Funny how things are. Funny how things are. We dream about the future, remember the past, and live in the present. Do you have a tutorial on C#? Okay, I definitely have to go soon, but got very sidetracked. I was supposed to do so much today. The design team's going to be so mad at me. Okay, can you recommend programming language should be going with? I would start with Python. It's very user friendly and you can build things, play around pretty easily. So definitely Python. Zeus Cybersex said, I had a crush on your sister. So she has a boyfriend now, unfortunately, Zeus. So you missed your chance. Okay. Sam Crafter, a cellular human brain is equivalent to 1,000 rat brains with a total of 100 billion cells that have been predicted to be possible by 2023. Ooh, okay. Oh, that's a blue brain. Interesting. I'm definitely going to look that up. Yeah. Terry Hendricks said Ex Machina. Yeah, we're getting there. That's the next open source projects. Okay. India. Big fan from India. Hey, what's that festival India called? Diwali? That one looks awesome. Are viruses alive? No, they are not. And just lost my place. Okay. Let me screen up. Oh man, I hate this thing. Man, so many good questions. But I do have to sleep it sometime. Okay. What about space? I think I missed the context of that. One second. I'll read some. Okay. Do you think you are in control, Bucky? I do, because all evidence points to that. And I will say that I don't know how we got here. I don't know how time began. I don't know if this is a simulation. I don't know if it's a dream. I don't know if it's a simulation, dream, or if it's just like it is. You were born and this is life and you die. But what I do know is whatever this is, dream, simulation, real life, whatever, that I want to make it the best that it can be. Even if it's a dream, then I want to make it a good dream. If it's a simulation, then let's make it a good one. And if this is it, where we are born for a very thin slice of time and that life is truly unique, then let's make it a good one. Okay, couple. I always keep saying a couple more, but more questions coming. We're basically the universe thinking about itself. Consciousness probably isn't regulated to humans alone, but to the cosmos, which it is derived. Thought about this as well. This is actually pretty interesting that I didn't think so many people thought about these different things, but apparently they do. And so this was Gedalia 2K. And I thought about this as well because the living things inside me, the cells, my heart, my lung, whatever, they are living, but they aren't really intelligent. Now, I can't think of anything in this universe where a component of something is more intelligent than the entirety of it. Now, if that's true, expand it out to a bigger picture. That means that if we are intelligent and then if we are part of the universe, then it would mean that the universe is intelligent. And almost that it would be impossible for the universe not to be intelligent because if nothing else, there's a small slice of it that is intelligent. And of course, since you are just a sum of your parts, then, the universe is us. We're making it up. It's not like us and then the universe. We're a pretty key ingredient here. Okay. Night Strike BG. Memory can be so trippy sometimes where you can go back feeling how you felt in that moment in the past. But it was today. But feel it today without actually living through it. Yeah, memory is a very trippy thing. How you can. So we know where these moments are in time physically. They are out in space. I know that 1 year ago from today, that moment is exactly 1 light year away from me right now. However, for some reason, even though we know, according to physics, exactly where that moment is, I am somehow able to take that and, in my mind, bring it back. Now, not that specific thing, since I have no idea what I was doing exactly 1 year ago. However, when I was 16, when I was 21, events that happened when I was in my 20s, early 30s, which I guess I still am in my early 30s, but to be able to take something that isn't here, that happened before, and bring it back. Crazy life we live in, crazy life. Time is just a feeling. Code Gator, that's his opinion. Time is just a feeling. How can I argue with that? All right, AZ, I think spirits are mainly matrix computation and memory storage. So I'm not sure if he's talking about computational matrix, mathematical, or the matrix. We'll find out. Okay. Favorite movie is Arrival. That is an awesome movie. Let's see. Man, my stomach is. Is this recorded? So I believe that this is going to be saved to YouTube and Twitch. Okay. Let's see. We have so many associations stored in memory, don't we? Think about a ball and how many memories, sight, sounds, concepts are attached to that object alone. That is true. That is true. Man, I'm never going to get through these comments. Okay, Mike looks like a toothbrush. I agree. And all right, Hunter Johnson. Did you know I was the guy who said give cat a bagel on the last streams? I did not know that, but now I do. Uno dos. Can we capture light? We can. We capture light in matter. Yeah, that's essentially all matter is. Whenever you shine light on something, if that material or that mass absorbs that energy, of course, shining light on this, a certain amount of light is going to be reflected, and a very small percentage of it is going to be absorbed in the form of heat, or sometimes it actually it gets absorbed, and then like electrons can hop up energy levels, but whatever. Anyways, all these different forms of light, electromagnetic waves, they can get absorbed into mass and matter, which is essentially just energy that's spinning around in the same place for a while. What the flying F are you talking about? Are you on something? Where is WebStorm? I agree. Who is this? It's like, what are we doing here? Gurleen Sethi trying to be programming, talking about life and space and time and lots of. I didn't plan this out. It's where the stream took me. Okay, you guys were pulling me towards this, so I blame you guys. I completely blame you guys. Godali 2K. I'll be honest. A lot of companies would rather outsource to people without degrees because it's cheaper. But Bucky's right. It has more to do with experience and is a good portfolio than anything. Ooh, this is a nice one. OSRS Elgister. If we could communicate without words, what would you learn from me? What would I learn from you? How would immediate communication and connection of our minds impact us? So I do not have a good answer to that, but I have an interesting fact, and that is with primates, they are able to teach them sign language, and they are even able to ask it a question and it can respond, so on and so forth. But what is interesting is that I just want to call them monkeys. I know that's not technically correct, but I feel like a little pretentious saying primates or whatever. So what's interesting is that even though you can teach monkeys sign language, one thing that they saw is that monkeys do not teach other monkeys sign language. So when new monkeys are born and they have kids, even though that they know sign language, they don't teach it to the next generation. So with humans, that is one thing. And they say that this is one of the main reasons for why humans are able to evolve to the level of intelligence that we did, is because we teach that knowledge from generation to generation. And we see it all the time, teaching kids, so on and so forth. But yeah. So maybe not with words, but through sign language. That's how I remember that. Okay, let's see. I cannot find your video on printing multi-dimensional arrays. I'm not sure which one. Which language was that? You guys are so high. I wish. Man, if we were high, figure all this stuff out. Is this a mindfulness stream? Apparently. Do you watch Vsauce? And also, what do you think about 3 Blue, 1 Brown? I used to watch those a lot. I haven't anymore, but I'm a fan. Any educational videos on YouTube, and also they make it entertaining. I mean, who can hate it? Okay, Van Veer Shah says, I think this is a pre-recorded stream. You will now learn that it is not. Or is it? And I just knew that that comment was coming, so I pre-recorded that answer. I did. Okay. If you can no longer communicate, I think I missed the earlier part of that. Let's see. Night Strike background. The new Boston. It always hits a different and deep, or it always hits different and deep when you realize that all of this will one day end and it wouldn't really matter because you won't remember it or feel it. It will just be darkness. Maybe so, but it matters to me and it matters now. And even though it's possible that I may not have any concept of space or time or I exist at all, in the life that I have, I want to make sure that I am helping the people that I care about because even though universe doesn't live on for me, I feel that it will live on for them. All right, now we got a little debate going. There's darkness before we arrived here too, so what's there to fear? Another good point. Also, okay, you know what? Gotta get back on track here. Will streaming be a daily thing? Please tell me because I miss half of it due to time zones and I will manage my sleep time. You know what? I really should stagger these streams. So, missing all these. Oh, let's see. Also, Sharez Ali, thank you for modding this very well. Man, just helping out so much with the new Boston. Head of Python client library development going beautifully. Modding, awesome. Huge asset. Jack Middleton says, where is this comment? Jack Middleton said, answer these questions with an Interstellar soundtrack in the background. Now that's a good idea. This is what I'm talking about, people. These ideas are what I came here for. Okay. He will have to go to the washroom and to eat someday. We'll see about that. I didn't wear this diaper for nothing. Okay. Let's see. What do your parents do? Do you think they raised you any different or special from most other people? I was just wondering how you think you became so smart. So I don't think that I am smart, hungry. So I actually do not think that I am. So I don't think I'm dumb, first of all, but I don't think I am smarter than average. If, especially with like trivia, if everyone in this chat room sat down and played Trivial Pursuit or Jeopardy, I would be bottom 5% easily. It's just that certain areas of what I learn, technology, and certain other things as well, I like to go very deep into them. And if there's one little thing that I don't understand, then I'll just keep digging until I figure out why. So, to answer your question, my mother is a nurse and my father is a construction worker. They didn't really raise me different than most other people. In fact, two brothers, one sister, and they're turned out normal, more or less. I was the only weird one, I guess. But yeah, I became so smart. I would not say I am smart by, wouldn't say I'm dumb, but I don't think I'm like those people on Guinness Book of World Records where you just like memorize 7 billion numbers at once. Just unique, I guess. Do you still play chess? Good question. Haman Chu Chuan. Hey, you know what? That would be actually pretty cool. So I don't play chess anymore just because I'm busy with everything else. Man, my stomach is going crazy. I should play chess. Maybe I should play it on stream. Probably not on YouTube since everyone would just be like, why is the new Boston playing chess? But maybe on Twitch. So Homanchu Chuan, do you play chess? Maybe we can play. Actually, we were thinking about game development for the new Boston since we have this thing called project proposals where we're having some trouble now where people are coming into the project faster than we have work for them. Like we have a front end team, we have back end team, we have marketing, design, but there's just so many people coming onto the project. We just can't create enough work for them. There's just not that many things to do. So we created something called project proposals where anyone interested in joining the project, they can essentially build whatever they want as long as it connects to the New Boston digital currency network. And it's not like inappropriate. It's not brutal or has like people fighting or anything. But essentially the reason I'm saying all this is because we allow games as well. And I was thinking of making a chess game since I was always interested in building one, since it's just a really interesting and also challenging thing to program. Now, that would actually be pretty cool if I build a chess game, or if anyone else is interested in building that chess game. Yeah, maybe we can team up. Maybe we can make a little project. And of course, it still does help the New Boston Digital Currency Network community project. But yeah. Okay, let's see. Alb Technologic, why should parallel universes exist? Maybe they shouldn't. Are you excited for the future of VR? Not really, to be honest. I don't know. VR to me, and I thought this about blockchain too, that it turned out being way wrong. But VR to me is kind of like 3D TVs. Like, okay, you can put on glasses and you see your TV in 3D, but it's like overhyped. So I don't know. I just, with that, you had to wear glasses and it was pretty inconvenient. And now wearing a big old headset, and some people get sick too. It's cool, don't get me wrong, but it's just not my thing, I guess. How much of social media do you use? I rarely use, well, does YouTube count as social media? Because that would change my answer. As far as all other social media, not barely at all. Sometimes to like talk to the community, ask some questions, get their feedback. I'm no floor and pop, but I don't know. It just doesn't interest me, a lot of things. And okay, now we're getting off on a little tangent, but something important I think I should explain. So I was actually thinking about why all of you guys asked me questions, and I thought about them a while before. It was kind of weird, but on social media, I feel what is happening is that people are more focused on the things that have happened in the past, and they're frustrated, and they like to talk about it, get attention for a lot of different reasons. However, I really am not a fan because I feel like human beings only have a limited amount of time and energy in each day. If they spend that time and energy debating against strangers online and focusing on the past and things they cannot change, they are never going to make that meaningful of an impact in this world. However, if you take all the time and energy that you would have spent on social media arguing with people and put it into building a better solution and to solving a problem, then you could change the world in a very meaningful way. And that is why I think that no matter who you are or where you're from, you should never underestimate the impact that you can have on this world as long as you stay off of social media. So probably didn't need to throw in that last jab, but come on. Okay, do you still use that tank thing, salt, infographics? I believe you mean salt tank thing. All right, so it's a sensory deprivation tank, and I do not. It was in my house whenever I was living up in New York, but now I'm in Pasadena, an apartment, and I don't think they want a huge tank in here, unfortunately. If I ever get my own house again, then I would love to have it. I spent a lot of time in that thing, way too much time, more than recommended, but okay. Harmon, the New Boston universe is alive. You just proved it. I mean, we're creating it. What the future holds is up to what we build. So We might not be able to build the entire universe, planets and suns and whatnot, but this little slice, whatever this thing is, this network, how we're connected, the software we're building, how it connects people, and the impact that it has on this world, that thing's going to come from us. So I think that's pretty cool. Hello, teacher. Hello, Farouk. Okay, Isam Halabi said, thanks for helping me get through my computer science degree. You are welcome. Glad you got through it. What's the plan on coming daily live? So Sanjay S asked, what's the plan on coming daily live? No plans. I didn't even have a real plan for this stream until about half an hour before stream. See, that's the thing. I know a lot of people say, schedule your streams, schedule your streams. And me, I kind of just like to wing it, but I do take note of if the community would like me to schedule these streams, then I probably should. So yeah, maybe I'll look into that. However, I will say that I'm going to be traveling, not like tomorrow or anything, but I'm going to be like traveling all around until next year, 2021, not that far away. So no consistency definitely until 2021. And then I could have a really consistent schedule if you guys would like it. Let's see. You should really stick to programming. This is like childish. Yeah, that's this program is my thing. This is one stream that just got a little off track, but I don't know. Childish or not, I like talking about it, and I like hanging out with the community. And sometimes we just need to be childish every now and again. Roast Snipes said, do you stream rarely? I do not. This is like my second stream ever. However, I did get lights, and I got some new lights coming since this background. These decorations just aren't cutting it. Had to steal them from my living room, and now my living room looks pretty bare. But okay, Mr. Sky, I have something for you to think about. All feelings, ideas are an opinion, not fact. It's not science until science gets involved and it becomes theory. Interesting. And that's true. Although, I wonder, I think about this with like schizophrenic people. If they hear voices and everyone tells them that the voice isn't real, the thing is, the voice is real to them. Does that mean that they're wrong? Or does that just mean from their own perspective, they have a different perspective of reality than everyone else does? So feelings, ideas are an opinion, not fact. It's interesting because maybe what is fact is different for each person. Now, I don't know how to translate the schizophrenia over to me and you, who I don't believe are schizophrenic, but life, man. Crazy. And my thing just jumped. Okay. Let's try to get these real quick. Yes. Okay. Let's see. What did Nathan Preston Scott say? I don't know. Words and speaking is a terrible way to express ideas. This is why visual content excels. Yeah, I agree. All right. Let's see. Ooh, this is good one. Gedalia 2K. I noticed certified programmers struggle with new projects because those projects don't resemble what they learn in college. This is an interesting point. And this also has to do with those algorithms that you have to learn for your interviews and that just have nothing to do with the actual job. So learning the bits and pieces of something is the concepts that you learn are different than putting those concepts together in a system as a whole. Because whenever you go through chapter by chapter, example by example, you're essentially learning the pieces. But what you aren't learning is how things work as a system and how information flows from one part of the system to another. So while it's definitely needed, I don't even want to say this is an option, but you definitely need to know how to learn those concepts in individual components, subjects, it also is good to create projects. So always be learning with the intention to build something that ideally you're interested in, because I think that is a really strong way to learn. Let's see. Teach me Photon. Oh, you are in the right chat for that. Where is he reading these messages from? If you ask that, then I guess I don't even have to answer, because wherever you just type that. Let's see. Man, my stomach is going crazy right now. I'm starving and I got to eat. Okay. Have you ever been burnt out from programming? I have. The only programming I have been burnt out from is from work. It was projects that some things I wasn't really passionate about or interested about. For projects that I don't think it's programming that you get burnt out from, because I know people at my work who said they were burnt out and then they moved companies basically doing the exact same thing. And it was just something new. So it isn't really programming. Like it's not like you're burnt out where your fingers get tired or your arm hurts. It's just mental, because maybe you are working on the same thing day after day and you don't understand how it impacts the company, or you don't understand the purpose of why am I writing this, or maybe you had to rewrite it for the 5th time and you're just burnt out. But I don't think it's the actual programming that burns you out. I think it's the environment and the project itself that more leads to burnout. All right, can anyone see where he's reading the messages? I'm reading them right here, wherever you typed it. That is Den Developer, the home of football watch-alongs. Okay, again, text right now. Is there a stream delay? I don't know. What is your biggest fear? What is my biggest fear? My biggest fear is that I will be normal. Okay, let's see. But you don't really learn. Okay, ripping through these. Okay, so apparently there is a delay. Sharez Ali, honored to be part of the team every day, learning new stuff from everyone. It's an experience on its own. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Sharez Ali, for being part of it, for making this community one person better every single day. Man, I don't know if you guys can hear my stomach, but it is just going crazy right now. I am really hungry. Okay. Bro, what is your age? I don't know. Been trying to figure that out. Low 30, somewhere in there. Are you creating another Bitcoin kind of currency? Yes, just a much faster one. And, well, actually, there's a lot of different changes. One of the main thing is the incentive as well, which is not something people talk about often, but the incentive architecture in the currency is what I believe is really going to propel us to the top. At least that's what I'm hoping. I love your burps, so natural. Me too. They're very natural to me. Let's see. Okay. Man. All right. Have you tried Rust and Go? Yes and yes. Big fan. They are both come in 2021. Still around. Okay. Everyone's just surprised that I'm still around. Still streaming now. Okay. I think this is a good point to end the stream. Let me just focus this one more time. Tomorrow, I'm going to work on my camera. And let's see, what else? What did we accomplish today? Nothing at all whatsoever. So mission accomplished in that. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I was expecting to make some charts and write up some roadmaps, but this turned into one of the most interesting nights that I've had in quite some time, and just getting to know everyone. It's been really awesome. So I got to get going because I'm starving. And even though we didn't quite finish discussing figuring out the universe, if I don't get something to eat, then I'm afraid that my universe won't last for too much longer. So I'm going to go get something to eat. Thank you guys again. And also thank everyone who has donated, who has helped moderating, who has just been part of this awesome community. Feels pretty awesome to be a part of this. So thank you, and I will see you later.